This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
Oh my God, that's incredible. So what you're
Holy
telling me
shit.
is that you basically got away
Guys,
with it?
we're live. Welcome to Open Comms Friday night. Welcome everybody. It's we're all here. I'm Drayden. We got Dirk here. Rain's here. We'll get to you in a second. LB's back, or no, LB is here. Hyper Viper is back after a little bit of a hiatus. Dark Shines is joining us. How's it going?
Hey, happy to be here.
And we got Pando. Hold on, let me there we go. There's Pando. How's it going?
Hey, going great.
And Brisk is back. How's it going, Brisk?
I'm alive. Freedom. It's about time. I missed you guys the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, it's been a little weird without you. I got to be honest.
It's really
I
been weird.
missed you.
I mean, you weren't entirely gone. You were sort of like here
I
in
was watching.
spirit.
Well,
Shadow
look,
of
you guys
Death
were
is
amazing. I
always
mean,
good.
I got to give you guys credit. You guys were amazing with the whole, his name was Bruce Ball and everybody free Brisk the one night and stuff like that. That was great. I really appreciate it.
Now that you're back, now that you're no longer dead, you don't have a name anymore.
I know, right?
Well,
You guys,
I should have changed it.
Well, I'm on there. It's good. But hey, you know what? But what I will say is one thing I do want to do on the air while we're here is I'm gonna pop some champagne.
Yeah.
Can we
I
do a
got some
shot?
Dom.
I think we got to keep it a little classy tonight, don't you, Brisk?
Exactly.
Decided not to go with champagne glass, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the real pop.
popping
A little-
bottles.
A little cold duck.
Opening shots. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Shots.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah,
back.
I mean, definitely.
Well, not just Brisk. Welcome back to
definitely
Pando and Dark Shines as well.
Congratulations to all you guys for getting this particular saga wrapped up, and that it came out positive for you guys. I think there were a lot of people out there who were, obviously rooting for it. I think the way it came out, although I think shockingly it came out even more than what people might have thought. But yeah, you know what? We're literally gonna start off with a shot right out of the gate as a congratulations to you guys and welcome back, Brisk. It's good you're here.
Welcome back.
Shots.
I'm pouring my wife a drink now.
Welcome back.
Yeah, you know what? Your wife does need a drink. Hell, your kid might need a drink, from this.
I should have had the Welcome Back Cotter theme song. I fucked up. Sorry, guys.
You're fired, LB. Get out of here.
All right.
But yeah, and I do want to kind of recap and sorry you are going to hear me read the final statement because this was pretty stunning. I got to be honest. I mean, I haven't seen people sitting around, and I was in Discord at the time and whatnot. I was actually in the office in a freaking meeting, and sitting in Discord, kind of just waiting for somebody to sit there and say that it'd come out. People were like waiting on this thing, literally like it was the freaking Mueller report. I mean, absolutely amazing, and people are just clicking, linking, but whatever. Dear citizens of New Eden, following from our statement on April 17th, we've completed our review of the Brisk-Rubal investigation and determined that our initial findings were incorrect. Neither Brisk-Rubal nor the other players implicated in this incident breached CCP's confidentiality agreement. Oh, I just lost my place. The terms of the non-disclosure agreement or privileged information to obtain an in-game advantage. We made a mistake here and we offer our formal apologies. First to Brisk Rubal and the 2 other players involved, both for making the allegations and the disturbances and stress caused by them in which we handled the situation. Second, for not collaborating with due care with the members of the CSM 13, who have acted responsibly throughout. Lastly, we owe our sincere apology to the EVE community for this error. We take full responsibility for any confusion and mistrust caused by our initial assessment of the situation. After reviewing our assessment of the information on which these allegations were based, and having spoken to, repeatedly with everyone involved, it's now clear that our initial actions were based on unsubstantiated assumptions. While we were motivated by a desire to protect the working relationship between the CSM and the EVE development team with all due speed, had we taken the time to review the information with greater scrutiny, this incident could have been resolved without the disruption that has since occurred. We aim to make it up to all concerned. Right now, we are in the process of restoring access to the EVE Online accounts of all 3 affected players, returning any confiscated assets, and providing rectification. Wow, I can't even believe I pronounced that name. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. Anyways, as appropriate, we will work to set this right, and we'll be making changes to our procedures and policies to ensure this kind of situation does not reoccur. Thank you for your understanding.
Thanks for the resubs, guys. There's a bunch of them. And Lily Tucker for the $10.
Do you guys have confetti?
No, I didn't. You got one of those pop things? Kids are involved. See, it's a family show, people.
There you go.
Okay, all right.
Your noisemaker
We had to
sound
surprise
like
you with
Aaron.
that a little bit, Derek. We wanted to get a little bit of.
It doesn't do anything.
That was actually pretty freaking funny. Okay.
That's what you get for going to the dollar store.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Let's go on to the main thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. So basically, that is the flesh of what came out the other day. We're gonna come back to that later on. All right, but that is the new news of the week. But really, the big story is having the Initiative 3 here, the Init 3, to tell their story. But before we get started, I do have a question here. I don't actually know how it works when you get banned and then reinstated and whatnot. So I don't know if there are any limitations on what we can ask, what we can't ask, what you can say, what you will say. Is there anything that, like, for the audience out there, for us, because I'm going to be honest, I haven't asked Brisk questions because I wanted tonight to be fresh. I'm going to learn shit along with all you people out there. Are there any limitations from you guys?
Well, look, obviously, I mean, here's the thing. You know, I'm a former CSM member. I'm still covered by the NDA. Even if I had breached it, which I did not, I would still be covered by the NDA. So there's certain things that I can't talk about. Like, basically, anytime I talk to CCP and they talk to me, I can't tell you guys what we talked about. So I'm not going to be able to answer any of those questions. And then in terms of how this was resolved and stuff like that, I can give you generalities, but I can't go into a lot of detail. I mean, the best thing I can tell you is what I think, what we think happened, or at least, you know, generally speaking about it, and what it felt like when it happened to us. And I can go through all the stuff that happened to me and all the things that we saw and that type of stuff. And I'm not going to speculate on who was behind it or who said what or how they did this or that kind of stuff, because I just want to get this behind me. I mean, the bottom line is this has been probably in the top 10 most stressful things I've dealt with in the last 10 years. And it's not the most stressful, you know, it's not like my wife getting cancer or anything, but it's pretty stressful. And so there's a lot of stuff I just don't want to get into. But I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can, because I know everybody wants to know what's going on. And I also want to take some time to dispel some of these bullshit rumors that have been going around that drive me crazy. But we'll get to that later.
I mean, it should be clear to people out there that prior to the show, we put Brisk under oath, so he's already gone through that.
Sworn in.
He's been sworn in, yeah.
Yeah, Manic gave me a
Like
very
Whopper.
nice
Now-
clip art Bible, and
Given there are some differences, the same question to you, Pando and Shines. You know, like, is there anything that you can't talk about or just won't, along the lines of what I asked Brisk?
Well, it's probably the exact same, right? I'm not, you know. Actually, we can't talk about everything technically, right? We're not under any NDA or any of that stuff. There's some stuff that I don't know, like the let's say the CCP stuff, like what exactly was talked about to CCP. I'm not sure. That's probably not appropriate, but in general, like we can talk technically about anything.
So you guys didn't get NDA'd under any of that stuff or anything like that. Like, there's no agreement or whatever that you guys are just going to shut the hell up.
No, they didn't tell us. Like they didn't forbid it.
Okay.
Obviously, I think Brisk and CCP both are interested in just getting this behind everyone and move forward. So I'm not sure how useful it would be to speculate too much because we don't even know exactly what happened behind the scenes, right? We just know what was the initial trigger for this whole thing to escalate.
Was it the Moloch?
Yes, it was.
All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but thank you, LB. Thank you for the initiative.
Wait, I want to know.
However, I do want to make a
Brisk
motion,
is
Rain. Rain, I want to make a motion. Since Brisk is apparently the one that can't say anything, I would like to have him removed to the green room while we speak to the others.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Denied. So no, the one question I want to ask is because I've heard conflicting things when the first dev blog came out. So they said, hey, Brisk is banned. By the way, 2 others have been banned. Dark Shines and Pando. Were you guys actually banned at the moment the dev blog came out, or did that come after?
I'm not
before the dev. I think it was a few minutes before the dev blog, actually.
Okay.
I'm actually not sure because I was logged in at the time, and when it was like when the news came in, and everyone was like, "Oh, let's figure out who the other guy is who's banned," and I'm like, "Shit, who's that guy?" Right? And I was logged in, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm not banned." Like, what the fuck is going on?
So you were logged in when they actually said you were
exactly.
banned.
Panda was always logged
Pando's
in.
like, fuck yeah, not me.
Panda was
That's
always
super
logged in.
contradictory of CCP of like, hey, by the way, we banned these players, and like Panda's just sitting there logged in like, oh, haha, who's that asshole?
Yeah, I actually remember Beyond B actually crossed the local. He was the last guy to see me online, probably. Right? He crossed local, and I said, "Hey, 07." And then I don't know, 10 minutes later or so, suddenly there was like a message. It wasn't like the message, "Hey, you're banned." Some weird stuff, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I actually screenshotted that to Shines. I'm like, does that mean I'm the guy? And turns out I was the guy.
That would actually be interesting to know what actually occurs if you get banned while you're logged in. Do you just get like a socket closed and that's it?
I mean,
or...
that message is not OPSEC or anything. I can find that probably.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I have to scroll quite far though. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
back like
so-
a couple weeks, I think.
So you're logged in at the time, which is why you weren't banned, because you were logged in at the time. When did you realize it was you?
Well, it was when that message came, basically, right?
Like, well, hold on. Okay, so the message, but you were still logged in. Like, did it shut you down at all?
No, it didn't. But I mean, I couldn't do anything. So the message came, and I'm like, that's weird. Let's hope that's just like some issue. Not like we had any issues recently. So and then I tested, like opened my assets, and nothing worked. So I'm like, oh, okay.
See, he's
probably
logged
me.
in at the time. He looks at his assets and he goes, "Where's all my assets?"
Well, it was funny for me because this was around like 10 o'clock Eastern, and I had, when I get up in the morning around 6 o'clock, I have like a morning routine that I always do. And one of the things that I do for my job is I do a sweeps of all the news, and I read all the DC stuff that I read every morning, and it takes about an hour or two. And I was just wrapping that up, and I was going through my email, and then I get this email that pops up saying, "You've been banned for NDA violation." And I laughed out loud when I saw it because I thought, all right, that's a really good prank. Whoever did that, they even got the formatting right on the stuff. And I'm looking at it, and I read it again. I was like, okay, this is a little crazy. And then I tried to log in Brisk, and everything was banned. And I was like, oh shit, this is real. So my wife was staying at home with me, and she comes in and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like shaking. I was like, I just got banned. And she's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I don't even know what's going on." So I started to reach out
She's
and
like,
trying
thank
to ask.
God.
I mean, she's like, "What? You will get to win Eve? Great, let's go out, honey.
Let's go out for breakfast, honey.
Let's go get some
Buffet."
food." So I went through and I started trying to. I logged into the chat client that we use to talk to the devs, and I put in the chat. I was like, "Hey guys, I'm getting messages. I got banned. Can you let me know what's going on?" And then I'm watching as all of my access is like deleted, like one bit at a time.
Shut
It was like,
up.
I don't know. I'm dead serious. It was surreal.
Because at some point prior to the dev blog coming out, it was about 15 minutes before, you're like, guys, in the open comms channel, you're like, I got banned, and like, even you at that point hadn't absorbed it because like you weren't even sure, and we're sitting there thinking, because this is in the morning, right? Yeah, it's like we're thinking you're joking and everything like that, and then it was 15 minutes or so later that like it popped up out there, and it's like, yo, what is going on? And then we're reading it and going through it and shit.
So then like 10 minutes after that, the blog goes up and I'm reading it and I'm like, holy shit. And it did not even take, I want to say, within 2 minutes of that going up, my phone blows up and Discord blows up and my email blows up and everybody's trying to find out. I'm like, guys, I don't know anything. I haven't heard. I have no idea what's going on.
No, when you say blowing up,
I was
I've got
getting
a question for later, but
I got calls from my corp mates who are friends of mine that were awake. I got emails from people. I got Facebook messages from some of my corp mates that are on Facebook, and then I got a ton of Discord stuff from everybody, including you guys. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? So I'm looking in our chat, and I saw that Shines got banned. And then I'm thinking, what the fuck is this about? And at that point, I hadn't heard about Pando, and I didn't know anything about what happened to Pando yet. So I saw that Talking in Stations, the guy started to go live, and I'm thinking, all right, what do I got to do to respond to this? And my wife and I were talking, and she's a senior PR person, so she was giving me advice. And the first thing she said was, don't go on any of these shows. So of course I ignored that and did it anyway.
Hold on, your wife is a senior PR person who is also a senior space PR person that told you the same fucking thing.
Yeah, multiple
Yes,
times.
correct. It said exactly the same thing that you did. But like I normally do, because I'm smarter than everybody, I decided I would do my own thing. I'm going to go talk on the show.
Yeah, I literally saw Dirk's like, just put a simple statement out there, that's fine, don't do anything else. And then literally
Look,
Dirk's next, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, is he on TIS? Yes, he is.
Exactly.
Like, I knew that's exactly where you went.
So it's like, my wife is coming over, like looking at me, and she's like, stop talking. And I'm like, hold on, honey. She's like, no, stop talking. So I finally, we were on the TIS and everything, and we're going through stuff. And then I find out while I'm on the TIS show that Pando was the other one that got banned. So in my head, I'm saying, all right, so I get banned. Pando, probably the one person I talk to more than anybody else about Eve stuff, gets banned. And then Shines get banned, our two senior FCs. So basically, like all of a sudden, like in its headshot, and we're gone. These guys are gone for 2 years, and I'm gone forever. So at that point, I was like, okay, I need to take a step back. And I finally shut up. And that's why everybody was like, well, and he said Pano, and he said, he seems to understand what happened now. Yeah, what I understood was, oh shit, our whole leadership just got taken out, and I'm not even part of it. And these guys are the backbone. I need to figure out what happened here. So the rest of the day basically was the three of us talking, trying to figure out what this could have possibly been. And the only thing that we could come up with was the fact that everybody on the CSM, everybody knows Pando and I are very close, and that he has a ton of great ideas for the game, and that I've always been willing to go and bring up ideas that he has. So I've been doing that since the beginning, and a good number of the things that I had run on when I ran for CSM were stuff that me and other members in it had come up with, and that we had crowdsourced, and at least two of those were stuff that Pando specifically wanted. So everybody knew that I talked to Pando. So the fact that I was talking to Pando, that didn't surprise me. But it did make me think, okay, everybody thinks I talked to Pando. So how did Shines get into this? So Shines, do you want to talk about any of that?
Actually, because I did want to go back to Shines. Can we have Shines? Because we haven't heard from him about when he found out and how he found out and things. Because apparently he was the second person to find out. Can we actually take it from there?
So I was actually sitting in work. I think the dev blog was released at 20 to 4 or 20 to 5 or something UK time. I checked my emails as soon as I seen the dev blog, because being Irish, I always assume the worst. And yeah, sure enough, I can ban email in my inbox. So I straight away pinged Brisk on Discord, wondering if he knew what the hell was going on. He didn't. And then I kind of poked Pando and said, "Hey, I'm the other guy that's been banned." And he said, "Oh, I'm still logged in." I was like, "All right, it's not you then." So yeah, that
didn't work.
was about it.
So I mean, so basically, we sat there talking and trying to think, and I asked them flat out. I said, "Guys, did you do anything differently in the last like 3 months than you've done before?" And Pando said no. The only thing he had done recently was we were planning to do a Naga fleet, so he had bought a bunch of Nagas, but that was it. But the only thing that Shines could think of was he had sold his Moloch that he loves and he's had for like 3 months, 4 months, 3 months. How long have you had it?
What? You had that for like a year.
Year?
More than, oh, that's right. You had it a long time. You had it for a year. Never mind. Obviously, I should have known that. We were in fights together. I'm losing my mind. So that was the only thing we could think of was that, okay, well, he sold this thing. So maybe somebody thought that, there was some kind of inside information into that. But we knew that, and we had talked about it, and we knew that this was not, there was no way that it was inside information because he's been trying to sell this thing for months, even before the summit. So we're looking at trying to read everything and see what kind of fit all the facts. And the only thing we could come up with was that somebody was concerned that I talked to Pando a lot and then Shine sells the Moloch. So obviously we must have inside information. And that's the reason why he sold it was because it was getting nerfed or some bullshit, which obviously, isn't true because, and all the changes that came through recently would have made the Moloch better, if anything, because it's got the best tank and it tracks better than anything. So we were like, that can't possibly be it. But that was the only thing we could clue in on. So at that point, I started reaching out, trying to talk to reach out to CCP guys if they could talk to us. And fortunately, they started to. And then I think once we were able to say, here's what we think you guys are concerned about, here's what happened, here's what we did, here's some screenshots. At that point, I think everybody started realizing we could communicate, and then the rest is history, and it ended up working out. So I mean, that's the story. It's not sexy. It's not, there's no real craziness to it. I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, this was all a mistake. It was a mistake. It was not malicious. At least I don't think it was malicious. I think the reality is it's just that folks, they took information that they had, they added up 2 + 2, and they got 5, and the result was we got banned. But I think the one thing I do want to say is on the forums, and a lot of folks are saying, oh, we got to look back at all these other bans and all this other stuff. The problem with the ban, for me, the problem was never the ban. I mean, I understand for Pando and Shines that being banned for a year was, crippling because they love this game. I mean, I love this game. These guys make my loving this game is like the same as me liking, cupcakes or some shit like that. These guys really love the game, and it's been their life for a long time. So I didn't care as much about the ban. I was more concerned about the fact that this was publicized, and then all of these news articles started coming out, and they all have my real name in it. And the fact is, when I'm a lawyer, rules of professional responsibility in Virginia. I mean, there's a Rule 8.3 basically says there's a provision in there that lawyers should not engage in any behavior that calls into question their honesty or trustworthiness as an attorney. And saying I've broken NDA, that goes directly to like, shit, that's my license right there, and I'm thinking about every campaign I ever run in the future, having people run attack ads against me saying this guy couldn't even be straight in a video game. Why would we elect him to office? and I'm thinking about, having to explain to my bosses at work, oh yeah, I got banned in a game because, somebody said I did insider trading, and
I'm not gonna lie, Brisk. McAuliffe called me and was like, "How can we take this guy down?" And I directed him to some people in PanFam, and this is how it all happened.
So just to put
so
two of my
So
favorite.
hold on a sec. King
rumors to
Aries
bed.
in the chat says you got lucky because of your public status. No, that's not what it is. I mean, the fact is that because of my public status, this had such a disproportionate impact on me that I feel like it made sense for them to go back and double check. Now, yes, that's lucky for me in terms of the ban and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, this damage is done, and it would have been much easier if it hadn't been done in the first place. So yes, I'm happy that we got this resolved, and I'm very pleased that CCP did the right thing. But damn, I mean, look, I'm never going to get that stuff cleared out of my Google history. I'm never going to get that stuff taken down. Even the articles, like I went after one of these scumbags on Twitter this afternoon because I'm looking. This guy wrote a nasty article on Geek.com, called me all kinds of names, said I was a Republican, we're all corrupt, we're all this, mocked me for how I lost my first race, which frankly I did better than anybody else has ever run against that guy. So hey, you know what? Say what you want. And I'm like, okay, and they updated the story, didn't change the headline, didn't change anything else in the body of it, but just added, in the interest of fairness, the company has cleared all of these guys of having done anything. And then here's the rest of the story with all the bullshit, making fun of me, calling my name, saying a Brisk Revolve sounds like Reince Priebus and shit like that. Come on. That drove me crazy. Anyway, go ahead. I'm talking too much.
Well, no. Let's take this back just a little bit. In terms there are the people out there who have thrown the thing up about, well, CCP didn't dox you. Doxing never had anything to do with this, did it? I mean, like the whole idea of your real life being connected to your in-game character name, that's on you. You own that. This was never about doxing. But where exactly did kind of the I'll call it the blame come from with regard to, by putting your name out there in game along with an accusation? What are the differences between they're at fault for doxing you, which they're not, and
the doxing? That's something that I think that has nothing to do with it. I mean, the fact is, and people have been, well, he asked for it because he shouldn't have used his real name. Then if he didn't use his real name, none of this would have happened. You know what? I ran for CSM. I played the game for 2 years. You want to win a CSM race, you need two things. One, you need the backing of a big bunch of guys who are willing to show up and vote for you. And two, you got to be different or have some reason for running. All right. I'm a line member in it. I was not very well known. The one thing I had that all my guys liked about me was I was a real politician. And yes, I was a real politician. I've run for office twice. I was served in the Bush administration. I was the senior election officer in the biggest county in Virginia. I got national recognition when I was doing a recount in the closest race in Virginia history in 2013. So yes, I am a real politician, and that was the shtick. That was how I did it. But if I said that and never used my real name, then one, either people are going to say that's not true, he's just making it up, or two, they would wait for me to go on one of these shows. They'd see my face and do a Google image search and find my name in about 10 seconds. I mean, hell, Brisk itself is an anagram of my real name. B-R-I, first three letters of my first name, S-C, first three letters of my last name. It was a Star Wars name generator I used 20 years ago when I started making it.
Damn, you're creative.
Oh, see, that's your problem using a Star Wars name generator.
Never saw that. I'm bad at anagrams.
That's not the first
That's
time you
it.
told us that, you guys. But no,
That's
I think
like-
the other thing too.
Hello.
Well, I mean,
but
the other
we've got
thing
to
too,
act
right?
like it's new. I mean,
Like CCP finally took away the real life name requirements for CSM, and then you still have folks like, what was it? Newman was doxxed immediately at the first CSM summit. Like they had maybe one photo of their out there, and he was doxxed. And so, but like if you had something like this, right? Like CCP releases dev blog, Newman permaban for being like an NDA breach, blah blah blah. Like everyone kind of knows that. So what's really stopping any of these shitty gaming articles or any of these like shitty news sites from going out there being like, oh yeah, they doxed it. Let me just go ask around and like see what happens. Like shit gets out there regardless of what you want.
He gave it in a forthcoming way, okay, the connection that was out there. The problem was never, okay, that the connection existed. The problem was what was attached to the connection that was existed. or that existed, right? I mean, like, this was for all the people that were out there arguing about, well, they're not the ones responsible for him having created the connection. No, they're not. But that was never the underlying argument regarding any of it.
No,
I mean, the reality is
So,
whether
give me one
or
sec.
not. Go ahead, Penny.
If
Sorry.
like all these people saying like, oh yeah, like Brisk brought it up on his himself because he put his real name out there. Are these guys all enlisting into golf clubs with like aliases and shit or something? Or like I don't get it, right? Like if
Right,
you
I mean,
know
that's the thing.
yourself
Well,
and you know
I'm not
you're
gonna lie.
a
My golf
fucking-
club, I don't use my like Dirk name.
Well,
You use your real name, right?
Well, yes, I do.
So you use your real name. You go out there, you cheat at golf, and somebody writes an article saying Dirk cheats at golf.
See,
yeah,
know,
like
there you
that's
go.
it's fucking ridiculous.
Did you dox yourself? Because
I'm not
you
good
should have
enough
used
to
an
cheat,
alias.
you
if
know
were
what I
gonna
mean?
cheat. I mean, the whole
Like,
thing is just.
The argument would hold if Brisk actually fucked up. That's the thing, right?
Well, this was
Right,
the
we
problem, right? This was the problem that here we had the confluence of a person having, associated themselves with their real name, right? And something going on. Now, quite honestly, if this had come down to the point where everybody just like, swear ass believed this shit, everybody would be like, whatever. But it didn't, right? It didn't come down like that. It came down to, oh shit, this was wrong. And because of it being wrong, it got put onto this other connection over here. And that's a problem that we'll talk about later. Like, that's a problem that we'll talk about later based on when you put out people's names out there, whether they be in-game names or not, whether they be like aliases or not, and things like that within the internet world, within the gaming world, and things like that. Like, you can cause damage out there based on, leveling accusations.
Well, and the other thing
Yeah,
I'm wondering
you
is,
know-
would it have had the same? Because the fact of that it was released that it was an NDA breach that they were accusing him of, and with the whole real life politician connection, all that stuff, that became the big story. If they had done it like they had done other stuff, if they had just been like, he's been banned, and for confidential reasons, if they had just left it at that, would it have blown up as big as it did? Do you think?
I think so, because it was what happened. The fact that we were basically being accused of insider trading and breaking the NDA, that I think, coupled with my real life, what I do for a living and everything like that became the story. And it's like this
That was totally the story.
Geek.com bullshit article that I can't stand. Even in video games, Republican lobbyists are corrupt. That type of shit. So
Dude,
that's what
it's
became the hook.
juicy. I mean, like you'll
Right,
admit,
exactly.
it's juicy, right?
But I mean,
It's
the
a
bottom
budget
line.
clip.
The bottom line is, at least in terms of the doxing, that was never an issue. But the fact is, everybody knew who I was. Everybody knew that my real name was indelibly tied to Brisk RuPaul, and it has been for as long as I've had the name. I mean, you could find who I was in about 15 minutes
In Star
if
Wars?
you had a brain. Even before I ran for CSM. So
But-
it's not like this was a secret. Everybody knew it.
And that what my first reaction to this, before I realized I was banned too, I actually said in iGeneral, like in our general chat, oh, this is the New Eden rape allocation version, And
Yeah, exactly.
It is, that's exactly what happened.
And you're in German time zone. You were having a good day up until then. Brisk had just woken up.
Yeah, but that was a pretty bad Monday for the rest of the day, I'll tell you. But I mean, but here's the thing. All right, that's all the bad stuff. Now let me talk about the good stuff. All right, I know everybody wants me to be really angry at CCP and to be really angry at the other CSM members and want to go after everybody and complain and bitch and everything. But I'll tell you flat out, once we started talking to CCP, everybody over there bent over backwards to work with us. They understood what happened. They understood from the beginning that this was a big deal, and they were professional the entire time throughout. And I mean, the fact is, when I went into this whole thing, I said that the two things that I wanted more than anything, if we could get this resolved, was I just wanted Pando and Shines unbanned, because that was critical to me, because I felt like, regardless of what happened, this was all. It would not have happened if I wasn't on the CSM, and they did not deserve to get banned, because I didn't believe they did anything wrong, and we know they didn't do anything wrong now. But I didn't want them to be collateral damage in all of this stuff because of my reputation. And I said, and the other thing is I want my reputation back. And I from the beginning, I said, I don't care about my accounts. I don't care about the bans. I don't care about the CSM. At the end of the day, my reputation is what is most important to me. And then making sure Shines and Pando got made whole. And from the beginning, there was never a question of that. I mean, once they did the investigation and everything, it was great. So I give them a lot of props for that. And I really, they apologized. I accepted the apology. I hope that, and they apologized not just to me, but they apologized to Pando and Shines. They apologized to everybody in the community, and they apologized to CSM.
It's a pretty thorough apology.
Yeah, I mean you don't see that, and the fact is, the biggest concern that I had was, if these guys really wanted to be mean or anything, if they really had it out for me, they could have just never said a word to me and let this go and doubled down on it, but they didn't. I mean, they did it right. They came back, and I really appreciate it.
I want to come back to that in a second, but we are going to do a shot, again, well, you know what? Fuck it. To them doing the right thing eventually, okay? Yeah, this is a shot for them then.
Thank you.
You and your Dom Perignon. No, you can't do shots at Dom Perignon. I do want to come back to the thing of, at the beginning, it seemed like none of you knew what the allegations were against you, other than you had breached confidentiality, and it was used by these other people to have gotten illicit games. Are gangs? Are you all clear now as to what it was you supposedly did that created the initial allegations?
Yes.
Pretty clear, right? I mean,
I think for the most
kind
part,
of figured it out in the first 2 days. Like they wouldn't.
We had to figure it out ourselves. Yes.
We had to.
There was a ton of speculation, Brisk. Okay, there was a ton of speculation to all of you out there. Okay, at the time, including Brisk, you trying to reconcile with yourself what it could be. Okay, but like, are you sure now? Are you sure now what it was you were accused of then?
Yes, we are sure now. Yes.
Can you tell us what that was?
It was essentially what I said, what we said before, was that I was accused of talking to Pando, and Pando apparently was accused of talking to Shines, and then Shines was accused of taking whatever it was that we were supposedly to have said. And I still don't know what it was that we shared that led to Shines selling his Moloch, and that was somehow bad. But that was some information that would have impacted that sale. But that's what we understand.
We can guess what they think you shared, obviously, right? If you would sell a Moloch, it would have been the info about the fax changes or the
HAW weapon changes.
It was either HAW weapons or the fax changes. But I don't think. I mean, we don't know which one.
I mean,
which one we were accused of. We don't know.
Were those? And I'm sorry. Clarify for me why those things would have been the reason for having sold a Moloch.
Well, that's the joke. I mean, they're not. That's why. I mean, as
opposed to any other Titan or whatever. I mean,
well, that's that. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like we were laughing about it when we could start laughing about this stuff when we weren't freaking out, because and Shines knows this better than anybody because he had like 350 some kills with the damn Moloch. But the fact is, it's got the best tracking in the game. So even a 50% tracking nerf, it's still the best tracking Titan for killing shit.
It was all. I mean, that's combined with the nerf on the fax reps as well. So
right. But even then, it's still got the best
getting supported by faxes are weaker, not just because of the HAW nerf, but because of the rep.
That's all his Moloch around out there is like some freaking Rat Token Lone Wolf Moloch on a gate or some shit.
If you're solo running it, then it won't matter with the reps at all. But
that's a corroborating factor then.
Shines, how many kill marks did you have on that thing when you sold it?
I think I had just broken 150 kill marks, but I was dropping on everything, and anything that came into Fountain, it got dropped on. So,
but like,
I mean, it was like a joke we had.
Was there anything presented to you about this was the thing you told somebody, and therefore the chain reaction of your remarks led to this?
Basically, you get shown the evidence that led you.
No, no,
Not
no.
the
In that
evidence, not the
regard,
evidence.
no. Look, I mean, look.
Or at least
bottom
the
line
strings
is,
on the board.
we never saw any of that stuff, and that's why. And then one of the guys here in the chat was saying, you know, are you gonna? Do you know who ratted you out? Who told you this stuff? First of all, I don't know. Second of all, I don't care, really, because I mean, look, we have all just seen the damage that an unfounded allegation had to me, and had to Pando and to Shines. And I'm not a big enough asshole to start throwing around unfounded allegations to my other fellow CSM members. I mean, regardless of what may or may not have been said, these guys are my friends. I've spent a year hanging out, talking with them. You know, I'm disappointed that somebody would have thought that I would even consider, you know, breaking the NDA to give somebody an advantage in the game, because I think that's ridiculous. Especially given how much I had to lose personally, you know, if that went down. But regardless, I'm not going to do that to them. I'm not going to play those speculations.
Well,
can you explain the part of the devlog that is associated with electronic devices at the summit? Like, is this something that somebody found, you know, was done while you were sitting at the table and, like, you know, DMing with, you know, Pando, or like where the hell did that come from?
That's the only
Were
thing
you
I can
sending
assume.
fucking dick pics to fucking Pando while you were sitting at
No.
the summit table? What are we paying you to be there for?
Kubu
I
says they have
stopped
dick
doing
pics.
that
Smart
when he
ass.
actually got onto the CSM.
We had no more dick pics after the CSM. So.
Oh damn.
That's a joke, by the way. I mean, no, look. I mean, seriously.
God.
Like,
Oh, by the way, I don't think we cleared it up earlier tonight. But that whole fucking intro, if like you guys even heard it there, where we're
at the
like,
end,
oh my
yeah.
god, you guys got away with this.
We
totally a
recorded
fucking
that.
joke.
Yes.
Like we pre-recorded that like 3 hours ago, but whatever.
can I make a serious
For
point?
legal reasons, that's a joke.
Serious point though. So a lot of people want to try and throw the other CSM under the bus. I think it's good. CSM did report this in good faith, and I would hope that regardless of what the CSM thinks or doesn't think, that if they assume or know or have some evidence of a fellow CSM member leaking, that they would report to CCP, and then it is on CCP to make that investigation. So I'm sick and tired of reading
Right.
this bullshit of throwing people under the bus and, oh, who did what, who did this, who did that, CSM. No, shut the fuck up and stop trying to blame the other CSM, because they acted in good faith thinking Brisk was leaking, and it is up to CCP to do that. It is not up to the CSM to do this investigation, to find some sort of evidence. They say, hey, we think it might be this. So shut the fuck up on your stupid bullshit and accusations of other CSM. I don't want to see that garbage in chat.
Thank you, Rain Gamer Girl.
Sorry,
there you go.
Star Sith out, and I'm joking. By the way, for all the people that are listening, fucking, oh my god, there's 420 listeners. 420. Time to do a shot, because just time to do a shot.
That's the wrong drug, but shut.
At least it is on my screen, but whatever. I want to go to Star Sith's comment here, but whatever. Shot 420. Oh, see, when they went to 416, but whatever. And they stay there. When I saw it, it was 420. Star Sith says CCP's new hire from Blizzard wasn't prepared for the Eve media. I'm gonna be quite honest, okay? Y'all can think what you want to about the fucking Eve media, okay? It is still more in tune with Eve Online than every other level of media, above or below, or however you freaking envision it out there, okay? Like the gaming media don't know shit. Like honestly, they literally work off of fucking nothing. The in-game media is reasonably decent at being able to source out some shit out there and like be able to talk to some people and like be able to cut through the meta. Whereas all these other people, they just don't know shit. And once it gets out from beyond there, it's like it's out in the wild. Which was one of the problems with this entire story, because Brisk got his name linked to his real life occupation and all that kind of shit, and therefore you had people, Variety magazine of all places. Like I was waiting for the fucking Hollywood Reporter to show up.
I mean,
bro.
look, this is what I mean. This was the other thing is like when I have.
And I don't mean to make this about you. Like I really don't want to
understand.
make this about you. I really want to make this about Darkshines, because Darkshines isn't talking tonight, and like his silence is like deafening.
I think he's eating.
Like
tired.
we
He's
know
eating a
we
pizza.
know
Stuffing
that
my face with
Darkshines did
pizza.
something a little weird, right? Like which is what triggered this whole thing.
Because
Because he's
selling a
not
Moloch,
talking.
that was the bad thing. In fact, he was doing it for
Sorry.
good reasons, because he was trying to set up a Titan fund for his corp so we could get more guys into Titans.
So yeah, I sold the Moloch for 425 billion. I bought Two
What'd you
avatars.
buy it for? What'd you buy it for?
370.
Man,
How many
man,
core axes did
you
you
made
buy?
you made a fucking what off that deal? Man, you're rich now.
That's
Yeah, right.
That's
I
the thing
was.
though
For
with
now.
rich dudes. It doesn't mean shit
You
for
should
them,
set
right?
up your
Like
own
40
alliance
billion,
out there and be like,
great.
yo, it's party time.
My wallet's currently at 220 million, I think.
That's not bad.
Oh, you need
Wait,
some,
hold on.
You need some
Wait, hold
ISK.
on. I thought everything was re-emancipated back to you people.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything in the first place. We're all broke. I mean,
Well, you're
I have
broke,
some misc,
Risk,
but
because you're a
about it.
politician. But like, you know,
I have.
hold on,
You know
hold
what?
on. The end
After
of the
all the
chain
fucking
here,
Plex
the
I
end of the
bought
chain-
the last 2
actually,
weeks,
the
I
end of the chain
actually have
here is
money.
the one we really want to talk to, right? The end of the chain. Pando's an FC, therefore he should be broke and tired.
He's
You're a
always
fucking
broke and tired.
CSM agent, therefore you should be broke, tired, and ashamed.
But he's
okay?
not broke. He just
But
sold all that.
Dark
Plex.
Shines is
I
the guy
sold all
at
the
the end
Plex.
of the
I got
rope.
money.
Dark Shines is the guy at the end of the rope who's got money, had money before that, and is now wondering, where's my pocket change?
I mean, do we
Follow
need
the
to
money.
start a GoFundMe? A go
No.
isk me?
So are you saying you guys?
Oh, by the
did
way,
not-
thanks for getting me to say that I have money because now everybody's asking me for money in the chat.
Everybody's
Nice.
going to ask
Great,
you for
thank you.
money.
Well, I mean, like,
So you guys didn't corner the market on core axes then? Is that what you're saying? You didn't make like a whole 5
Dude,
million
that's
core axes?
you know.
Are you
LB,
sure
I
it
love you,
wasn't
man.
the faction gun change? Because I
That's the-
heard
We're
We're not
rumors
off on a
faction gun
tangent
change.
here.
What
I
about-
want to
And
not
I'm
you
pretty
guys
sure those people
understand
are
your
dumb
really
off
entire
retarded, but that's
joke.
what they said.
Did you or
Actually-
did you not buy up all the stuff that's not even in the game yet to make Tech 2 Turgolivian
yeah.
chips? Answer that.
I just
One
thought.
of the,
Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
when we were going over what it possibly could have been, I was like thinking of every transaction I've had since January or before, and I was even digging into things like the fact that I bought 5 faction Leshak guns the Saturday before for a corp room. So there's a lot of
Well,
shit
you
to
had
go
the
through.
Leshaks for it
Insider
too.
trading.
Yeah. Well, I was selling Vedmax.
And you would have
'cause-
made like how much? Like 200 mil. Yo.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
it's double.
400
dank,
mil?
yes.
You would double your current wallet, right?
You know what?
There we
You know
go.
what's really sad here? I'm just thinking, if this came back to the Moloch, what kind of fucking illicit gains are we talking about here?
I mean, the bottom line is it was not a lot.
Which number one, how do
wasn't a
you
lot of
value
money
a
anymore.
Moloch in the grand scheme of like is there a genuine market that they can like put that to, or
You know, the
I
funny thing is,
mean-
didn't Molochs even go up in price or something?
Yeah, so I sold mine for 425 before the patch, and then when we were looking into this, I actually seen another Moloch sell for 450 after
but
the patch
that
notes
was
had
your
been
alt
released.
that put that like sell price up there to like
Smart
be
ass.
like
Absolutely not. No, definitely not me.
I mean,
But-
honestly,
Dirt.
Hold
it's
on.
not the
But
amount
what
with
were
the
the other
Moloch that they did.
what
it's-
were the
it's
other potential
principle.
Molochs at the time? And like what are we talking about here in terms of
None had
illicit
sold.
gains? And I get
There hadn't been any sold in a while. That's why the market, nobody knew what the value was.
See back in the day when we were talking about like tens of millions and hundreds of millions and all that kind of shit, it fucking meant something. But now we're in the billions range. It's like I don't even know now. Like what does illicit gain mean nowadays?
I think it's
I
just,
don't even know.
it's money gained illegally. I mean,
What if he had come up with a loss based on like I'm not even sure they researched it back that fucking far. I gotta be honest.
Well, I don't, and we don't know, and I don't think it's worth.
And we don't
speculating
know.
over.
I'm not
I
trying
mean,
to
the
put-
bottom-
I'm not even
Look,
going
the bottom
amount.
line. The bottom line is that they looked at this and saw the sale and somehow linked it back to me talking to Pando, and that became.
What
the-
did you
the
tell
reason for this.
Pando? That's what I want to fucking get to. When you were
Leak it,
apparent,
Brisk.
when you
Leak
were
it, we all get
apparently up there
banned.
eating horse head
Leak
or
it,
whatever.
we all get banned.
When
What
you
the hell
were
with you,
when you were
Marta?
apparently up there eating horse head or whatever it was, what did somebody out there find you fucking telling Pando?
Nothing, because I don't. The bottom line is Pando and I talk all the time. I
Don't
talk to
say
you guys all the
nothing
time.
if 6 months from now somebody's going to come out there and leak it, because guess what?
Look,
The
I'm telling you
CSM
right
is
now.
like a sieve.
Look, I'm
after
telling
a
you.
couple
I'm
months.
telling you right now. That Pando and I talk a lot. We talk about a lot of random stuff. We talk about ideas for stuff. We talk about. I mean, he was one of the ones that gave me the idea when I went in October to talk about maybe we should change faxes. When we were talking about structure changes, we were talking about a ton of different things, and he and I go back and forth all the time. I was talking to you guys during the summit. Rain's bullshit with leaving Black Legion happened during the summit. We were talking about that.
Oh,
I mean, I was talking about
shit,
stuff.
yeah.
All that stuff. I mean, look, the bottom line is we're in Iceland for like 5 or 6 days. These are long hour meetings. I was working. I mean, my job, I am never off the clock. It doesn't matter. I could be on vacation in Paris. I could be in church. They don't care. If they need me, they're going to call me. So I have to have my devices available, and I got to be able to do work. And I stepped out of the meeting more than once to take work calls. So, I mean, the bottom line is we talk to people all the time. And not just me, everybody does.
Did you turn over your cell phone records to the investigative team from CCP
Phones
to check,
go in the bin.
to check whether or not anything went to Germany?
No,
Did you
we did
take
not get that. We
pictures
did not go that far.
of whiteboards or like sketches on a table
Like
while
a
you were
selfie
there?
No,
with like some
no, I
with, like,
mean,
some
no.
tips.
Look. The
Did
bottom,
you send a picture of Aerith amongst a bunch of other people, put it out on Facebook, and then send it to Pando?
See, when I saw
No.
the thing about in the future we're not going to allow electronic devices, I was like, were you recording were you like JFKing these guys?
I'm
No, that's
Rosa.
the thing. Like I mean, look, this is the joke. Like, I had my laptop up. Other people had laptops. Everybody had their phones up. We're all sitting around a table. Everybody that was in like eyesight of me could see everything on my screen. It wasn't like we were hiding anything. We were all sitting there for 8 hours a day talking about Eve and spaceships. I mean, I
Was it
logged into the game a
because-
bunch of times to check things out while we were talking to people.
Was it because you
So-
were in your Not Safe for Work Corp channel talking about piercings? Is that what
No,
this was?
that was not true.
I'm
I
not
never look
go-
at that when I'm not at home.
I'm not going to lie, Brisk. Okay, I love you because you and I are on the same side of a bunch of motherfucking things out there and stuff like that. I am fucking surprised that this thing came out the way it did. I actually thought it was going to clear these other two guys. Okay, I really fucking did. I thought it was going to be like, look, whatever. Like, they didn't do it. I thought there was still going to be a level of negativity on you because I thought there was something you may have fucked up on.
See, but this
Okay,
is the
hold
thing.
on,
I mean,
time
look,
out,
and
time
that
out,
was.
time out. Just let me
Go
finish.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Which
always
is
on your side,
why
Chris.
my mouth fucking dropped on the meeting room table about people that have no idea what fucking Eve is at the time, and I was like, holy shit, are you fucking kidding me? Now, honestly, there is this deep down, like, cynical part of me that thinks CCP gave the fuck in, and I really wonder about this, about whether or not they caved under the pressure of, your magnanimousness, okay, your ability to question them in words that they don't understand and shit like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I think there's still a part of me that believes that like there's an element of this that gave some growth to it, but didn't actually sprout into like anything meaningful.
I was in the initial thing. I was like, they're
And holy
obviously
shit, I
looking
just
at
totally
something.
said that for the rest of you to question me on that. You bitches!
I'm not going to
threw
question
that
you on
out
it,
there
Dirk.
for you.
Dirk,
you're
I threw
talking
it out
too
there for
much.
the
Dirk
rest
was
of
in
you.
the middle of
Ray,
it.
you
Dirk,
didn't even
you're
question
talking
me
too
on
much.
that.
No,
How
you're
dare you
talking
lose
too
the
much.
bait,
Dirk,
Dirk.
when we get to this
Oh,
point in
you're
the
just
show,
like- you were in
we're
a-
about an hour in, and you start rambling, and I have no idea what the fuck you're saying. Normally,
No,
I just
bullshit.
shake.
Can we
my
let-
head.
Dirk,
bullshit.
No,
Okay.
I
let's
just
let
literally
Shine
said
Whatever
that.
you're
These
saying,
people-
Dirk.
And these people are like, yeah, Dirk's kind of right.
No, hold on,
No,
Dirk.
No, I
Let's
didn't
let other
mean
people
that at
talk.
all.
Wait, hold on. I was not agreeing with you that I thought that he did. So I was like, they're looking at something. They have something they think they got him on.
It was
It's at a character of Brisk. I don't know what
It
they're
was
looking
very-
at. I don't
I'll
know
be
what
bluntly
actually
honest.
happened, but I was
Yeah.
like, they
I will
are
be
looking
bluntly
at
honest.
something.
When
There's something
this
they think
when
they
this
did.
thing came down, and I found out that Pando and Shines were banned, I was sitting in my office I went through all of my conversations.
Crying on Discord to us.
Well, I was talking to you
Was
guys, but
not
I was also
crying.
I was trying to figure
He
out.
was semi fucking weeping. I could
No,
read
That-
it in
wasn't,
Discord.
Dirk. You're
That
fucking
was
making
never
shit up. I'll
crying,
screenshot
Dirk, you
that
stupid
shit.
He was
ass.
You could see the
generally
sobs in
upset.
the
Look,
text. You could see
Dirk,
the
it.
point
you were
of what,
upset.
but the thing was, what I
I
was
was
trying to
upset.
figure out was did I do this by accident? Did I say something by accident that I don't remember saying? And I was trying to go through it, and I kept thinking, I was like, no, I've never come close because I know where the lines are. I know what's in the NDA. I know what the rules are. I'm not going to break that, and I have no reason to. And I knew Pando, I knew Shines. There was no reason why. These guys don't care about ISK. They care about blowing other people up. That's what we do. It's not about money in this fucking game. It's about killing other people. That's
But
that's
the
how we
Moloch.
play the game. You know, so that's
But I swear to God, this is
they're
like,
not industry guys.
how has it not become a like? I haven't seen it because honestly, I'm not out there on Reddit. Gibberish, can you confirm this for me? You never saw an image, a meme out there that said "but the Moloch."
Actually, I have. So I'm gonna.
Have you?
disagree on
Have
that
you? If
one.
you have it, throw it
I
in the Twitch
definitely
chat.
have.
If you
Oh shit!
if you have evidence, throw it in the fucking Twitch chat.
You know what,
Otherwise, it
I
doesn't
wanna
make
see
sense
the
to me.
Hold on, hold on.
I
Like
have to
nobody
say, though-
said "but the Moloch."
Can
they
we-
said a whole bunch of fucking high level other shit out there. Come
Can,
on.
real
All
quick, can we
Hey.
reel this all the way back to the very beginning intro of the show?
Look
I'm
at you
s-
reeling it back,
Dude,
Dream.
I'm reeling
Fuck
it.
you. That's why you my boy.
No, I'm reeling it back. Gibberish, I'm sorry, I did not introduce you at the start of the show, and you've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You can call me a
It's
Because
nice
we
to
still got
Jib.
because we still got
You
5
guys not
minutes
say-
before we
We
introduce
have 5 minutes
Gibberish.
from the
Yeah.
lockdown hour.
We're not giving
Dick.
Reddit credit for more than 5 minutes from now.
Yeah,
We're going
Five
into
minutes
Gibberish,
from
you
now,
have 4 days to
5
call me a
minutes
dick,
from
because
now,
I was
we'll
totally a dick there. I'm
recognize
sorry.
I see how it is.
Gibberish
I love
is
you,
here
I'll
with
Gibberish.
us,
remember
guys.
this.
Dude, did you
I
get
love you,
timed
Jib,
out?
even if these guys are dicks to you.
Wait, I'm gonna
They're
set this up.
definitely dicks.
Brisk. So we have gibberish
What?
here. Weren't you gonna say something related to gibberish and something going on? Like ask you anything?
I
Oh
was
yeah, we got to bring that up.
AMA?
We're doing an AMA here.
Are we doing an
We're
AMA?
not doing an AMA.
No,
so,
R/Eve?
Dirk McGate. Dirk McGurk.
Jib, Jib, go ahead and do the plug if you want.
So, some of you know, some of you don't. I happen to run another subreddit other than R-Eve, a very controversial one, R Conservative.
Yes, the
Come at
Trump
me.
the Trump subreddit. We
Come
get
at
it.
me.
No,
Come
no,
at
it's
me.
not.
Well, I talked to the mod team, and everyone is open to doing an AMA to Brisk Rubal.
And
I have
I'm
to
willing
say-
to do
Going
it.
to be
And,
hosting.
Let me
and-
throw something
and-
in.
and I'm willing to do it. And the reason why I want to do it, and it is because, you know, Jim and I talked about this. One of the things that I saw repeatedly during this whole thing, and it has nothing to do with the ban. It has nothing to do. It was how this was messaged in the gaming media, how this was messaged in the mainstream media, and how they came after. I mean, the minute that they saw that I was a Republican, everybody just assumed. I mean, even more than being a lobbyist, everybody just assumed that, oh, well, obviously this guy did it, because you know you can't trust any of those Republicans.
Yeah, them,
And you
them
can't-
Trumpkins.
And you get all, and you, I mean, look, the Geek.com story in particular was absolute bullshit. I mean, it was just nasty. And if you look in the comments, I mean, all of it was, well, obviously he's a Republican. Of course, he's got to be corrupt. They're all corrupt, you know. And it just it was that kind of partisanship. And I saw, and the funny thing I also noticed was the guys who were most hard over pissed off about it from a political, like a real life politics standpoint.
Nobody cares.
We're
what you
all not
do with your
Americans.
wine.
Most of them weren't even American. They were British or Canadian, and they just were just so mad about it. And it was just I saw that, and I was telling my wife, I was like, damn, you know, I
This must
saw
be
less
hard
salt
on your wife.
from people in Eve that we didn't like than I did from the real life. It was bad. This was very tough on my wife. Yeah.
This must be legitimately hard on your wife because number one, you guys are a connected couple, okay? And she's in a semi-different industry than you, but she understood how like fucking bad PR happens and whatnot, and she's sitting there going, "Oh my god, who the fuck did I marry?" Okay, like all that shit like went down, but like this had to be hard for her in a different way than it is harder for your normal Eve wife out there.
Well, I mean, the reality is, and I'm not going to get into the details.
And I don't
she-
want to like
she's asked me-
categorize normal Eve
Look,
wives or anything
Shots
like
to
that.
Brisk's
She's-
wife.
Yes, please shots for Brisk's wife.
I
Mrs.
am
Brisk
doing shots for
had-
fucking Brisk's
had a
wife.
tough
Is it
I
Mrs.
mean, look.
Brisk or Mrs. Rubal?
What kind of music
Mrs.
does
You know
Brisk's wife like?
Rubal.
We just call it
Mrs. Brisk Rubal.
we just
Mrs.
call
Brisk
it
is fine.
Mrs.
I mean, look, the bottom
Hashtag
line for
Rubal.
her was that at least in my office when we talked about it, it was like my guys always kid me about my internet spaceship stuff, so it wasn't a huge deal. But she does PR, and this was a big deal for her at work. So it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm worried about her having to deal with blowback from job stuff, and we talked about it, and there was some. So for her, it was not just, all right, my husband is being accused of something he didn't do, but not only that, but now I've got to deal with all this other stuff that I don't have to deal with while I'm trying to do the rest of my job. So it was that was hard. I mean, it was hard. I mean, that's one of the problems with, you know, having even some of this stuff having a public, you know, persona, is that, you know, something like this happens and people come after you, and yeah, it's bad. It's really mean
So-
and
That's-
nasty.
That's the entire reason that the mod team actually brought to me doing this AMA for you in particular, because we saw that, what was it, the geek.com article?
Yeah, it was
And
bad.
it was just a hit piece. It was a blatant hit piece. It had nothing to do with
Well,
the story.
Hold on. I'm sorry. We are now beyond PC Gamer, Kotaku, like all of these. We're now down to what is this, Geek.com? Like this is somewhere below Tom's. This is somewhere like
No,
17 pages down on fucking
Dirk,
Google
we got.
search.
I mean, it was Variety.
No. Variety is Real World. That is not a gaming mag.
Crack.com did it.
Geek.com?
Cracked.com did an article too.
Variety.com.
Variety. I mean, look, and not only that, I had Washington Post
See,
reporters
I
calling
am
the
not
house.
the drunkest motherfucker here because I said Variety 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So,
I-
Britt,
I've had-
there was
I had
No one was listening.
I had
20
Washington
minutes
Post
ago.
call.
Thank you, Drayden.
I had Washington Post call the house like 3 times a day for like 2 or 3 days in a row. I know
Hold
a
on,
lot of
hold on.
Washington Post reporters
You
from
did-
real life, and this was a guy I didn't know.
But
they
I'm gonna
called
be
the
straight
house a
up,
bunch
Briss.
of
You
times.
didn't answer WAPO?
No,
If
I
I
didn't.
see
I
this
didn't.
shit, if I see this shit next year on fucking Showtime, I'm gonna be really fucking pissed.
we have a
No,
question.
I didn't answer WAPO. We had a guy
Question.
call my office saying he was a reporter from Fox News wanting comment from my work.
Was it
I
Jesse?
mean-
Did he say, "Hey, my name's Jesse. I'm here"?
I
to,
don't
like,
remember.
ask
So,
What,
Briss-
I don't remember what the guy's name
We have
was.
a question from the floor.
Briss, so Zarbox is asking, what's your thoughts on CCP's stance of keeping the process behind permaban/NDA breaches fairly opaque when it's pretty clear such processes/staff have no clue? How do we trust prior bans are legit and future bans will be properly investigated first? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think if you look back at what CCP put in the final blog that exonerated me, the last paragraph said that they were going to look into their practices, and I urge them to do that. I think it's a good idea. I mean, for one thing, I think one of the things that I think the gaming industry as a whole needs to start thinking about is folks like us who've been around for a long time. We've all been playing games for a long time, and guys like me, I
Every
grew up
game,
playing
or just
games.
games that have been around for a long time?
I'm talking about every MMO. I mean, I think at the end of the day, people invest hours of time that turns into weeks of time, that turns into years of time into these characters. And yes, we all sign EULAs. We all sign, terms of service that basically say we have no interest or ownership in any of the stuff that we do. But the fact is, people pour their hearts and souls into this stuff, and these games matter. And internet spaceships is serious business. We joke about it, but the reality is, guys like Pando and Shines have spent decades playing this game and creating content, and having all of that taken away is it's pretty damaging. It's like going to jail. It's like, I mean, and a permaban for me, I mean, that's like a death sentence. And I was sitting in my office thinking, all right, if I can't get this fixed, and they double down and say I did it, and there's no way I can get this done. I've been using this character in every single game for almost 20 years. My son calls me Brisk sometimes. He has all kinds of stuff that he draws.
Oh my
on
God,
the wall
dude!
And
Hey,
pictures
hold
of
on,
things.
Time out. We need to take a step back right now.
Stop! No, Briss, carry
No.
on.
No,
I mean, it-
Let's
no.
finish.
I don't want to
Brisk
let
is
him
Stop
go
interrupting
deeper
our
into the
guest, Dirk.
territory
Shut the
where your
fuck up.
child is
Just
calling.
write it down,
like,
Stop
Dirk, and come back to
interrupting
it.
our guest.
Look,
We're
look,
talking
Write it down
to our
and come
guest.
back, Dirk.
My
No,
daughter has called
stop.
me Dirk, and I
Stop.
sat there and said, "Yo,
Stop.
that's not cool." And she's
No.
like, "It's only because you're like a."
All right, Briss, carry on.
So I mean, look, I was trying to say, how do I divorce Brisk from Brian? And I'm like, I can't do it. Like my kid, it's a huge thing for him. I mean, I asked him when I got my new car 2 years ago. I said, "Hey, what should we put on the license plate?" And he said, "You should put Brisk on the license." So my license plate on my fucking car is Brisk. Okay, so having that taken away and having that name associated with being banned for breaking the rules, I mean, that was like a gut punch. So, I mean, it was tough, and that was the thing. Like, how am I gonna deal
Bitches,
with that?
please.
Welcome back, Dirk.
I didn't do it.
So I think, to get back to the original question, I think a lot of these gaming companies need to go back and look through their processes, and at the very least, I'm not going to argue we need due process and judicial systems and a judicial branch in all these games, because at the end of these are games, okay? But at the very least, there should be an ombudsman or somebody, you know, in on the development team or in a team security or that whose design is supposed to be to go over all of this stuff and double check and be skeptical and advocate for the player that's getting in trouble.
Obviously. Well,
I mean, just have somebody say, "Hey, are you sure this is a good idea?"
Well, here's my thing about that. Is this,
I think
like,
that would be a
as you
good thing.
grow old or as you age, as you become a mature adult, you develop a decision-making process. And in your decision-making process, at some point in time, you should be asking yourself, is this a fucking good idea? And if it's not, maybe you shouldn't fucking do it. You know what I mean? You should be evaluating the pros and the cons of each decision you make in your daily life. If you're not doing that, you don't have a good decision-making process. So if these are the people that are out there making decisions for CCP that don't have this decision-making process, what the fuck is going on?
Well, the thing is, like, most other games, and I would hope that CCP would, I thought they did follow suit, because the thing is, like, when bans have come down in the past, I don't know what happens between the person that got banned and CCP in the back channels, whether they have a chance to, like, you know, refute their claim or defend themselves, be like, hey, I think you got it wrong. I don't think I did this thing. Because most other games have some kind of process to where if you get banned, you can go and contact some department of theirs and be like, I was banned and I think I was banned wrongfully, and they'll look at the stuff again and maybe tell you, like, no, we think we rightfully banned you because of this and this and this is what we had, and then there you go. You're still banned, or you're right, we looked at it and maybe it was wrong, so we unbanned it. Like, most other games have that, so I would hope that, I always thought CCP had a system like that, and if they don't, I hope they put that into place, because now if you try to refute the ban and they're like, nope, we're pretty sure, and you're still banned, then they can cut you off at that point. Like, you lost your appeal, you're done, but, I mean, there should be some kind of system to take a second look at everything.
And I will say, like, from personal experience, like, I'm not going to share super in-depth details of people I've reported, but, like, I've presented evidence to CCP and I said, hey, here's somebody admitting that they've doxed someone, here's somebody, like, making death threats, and, like, these are all out of game, but I'm like, here's my evidence to say this is a person in the game and this is why I feel you should ban them for XYZ reasons. And CCP says, hey, thank you, we're going to review it. And as always, they say, we're not going to tell you the results, but a lot of times they'll say, oh my gosh, we can't, you know, like, if you share a Skype logs, we can't use Skype logs. We have to actually log into your account, actually see those ourselves, because we're not going to take screenshots and, like, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, CCP has made it very clear they're not just going to take a screenshot or chat logs, you know, stuff that can be easily manipulated, right? And so having seen that in, like, the 5 years I've been playing, I'm like, okay, so CCP has a process. We have Iron Bank in chat. Everyone knows Iron Bank was banned for various reasons. Iron Bank has appealed his ban.
For various reasons? What were the reasons?
Yeah. So Iron Bank, I said it was not related to RMT, but it was actually related because he was making quote-unquote profit as a streamer from the game, which is a subsection of the
what did that mean at the time?
He was actually banned from this chat too, and banned him. He's still unbanned.
I'm just wondering if you understand the situation back at the time that Iron Bank got banned.
I remembered the casino ban. Yeah, I was pretty active, and I actually knew that was going to happen before it happened.
Was it part of the casino ban, or like?
So he was banned in the wave of casino bans, but he was not banned via I Want ISK with RMT accusations. He was banned because they accused him of making a profit via Eve, as though because he was making a profit from being a streamer of Eve. And I believe that was what the case was. Granted, that's from Iron, so therefore I do not have any evidence from CCP. I am trusting Iron.
But like your recollection at the time, what was it?
I just shared that. But I'm saying,
who was he affiliated with at the time?
I don't remember, but it was not I Want ISK.
Was it I Want ISK and Lenny?
No, nope. He had left them.
Right?
But Lenny was banned, right? And so, but you have
I
all
Want
these,
ISK and
all
Lenny
these
were
people
banned for real money trading.
Well, you have all these people that were banned. I just explained that. You have all these people that are banned, like Stunt. Stunt was banned for impersonating a CCP dev, even though it wasn't in game, and even though he didn't release it publicly. But you have all these people who were banned, right? Like there was recently a guy who was like pretty high up. My assumption was pretty high up in Goons, who was banned for
Iron Bank
RMT.
is somebody who should legitimately should be like reviewed.
Stop.
Because that was
but
a
you have
fucking
these
time.
bans that happened, right? Like Jin Tan talked about how he was banned for 3 months. He appealed it, had no idea why he was banned, and suddenly he was unbanned, and he went and talked to the security people, and they have yet to tell him why. But you have all these people that are banned, and so my experience has always been, okay, CC has a process, and then I see Brisk happen, and I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute, I thought they had this process, and now he's unbanned completely 360, and a lot of folks are like, whoa, wait a minute, like, I thought if CCP bans you for something, they're 100% adamant that you did it. So if you are banned for RMT, for botting, for NDA leaks, what have you. Who gives a fuck? If you were banned, then you are banned because you were caught, and
This-
CCP had a process.
this-
and
but
now
here's
people
the
are
thing,
questioning
guys,
it.
The problem
guys,
with the
listen,
differences
listen,
over
guys.
time when you're trying to measure CCP's growth over time, like a lot of things have changed regarding what it is they're willing to fucking ban over, like ban the fucking slap of a hat over. Like back in the fucking, again, we can go back to things like Summer Blink. I'm going to tell you right now, what Summer Blink did back in the fucking day would not have been a ban-worthy offense once everything got fucking worked out and shit like that, okay? You have to sit there and look at Iron Bank at the time. He did not get banned for the real money trading that was associated with casinos at the time. They came down with something that was, leveraged against a different casino that he had actually moved over, but they never said real money trading. They came down to the whole business thing in the EULA. But like, honestly, that was really fucking weird too. And so was the guy that actually got banned from that casino, but like no details came out. Nobody questioned it because at the time, okay, there was a whole crackdown on casinos and everybody just thought all fucking casinos are dirty. Therefore, if you had a casino attached to any entity that was a part of you, that was actually a growth phase of EVE at that moment. Just want to let people know out there. I mean, it was a growth phase across both casinos as well as players, I think, at the fucking time. But there's a whole bunch of this shit where it's like CCPs actually had to grow up actually learning their own EULA and having it adapt to changes in the environment. Like all this shit is why when you literally get to what I will right now call the pinnacle of Brisk Rubal getting accused of that shit, people question it because they're like, wait a second, I'm not sure
And
whether or not I should accept their fucking seriousness about this.
Here's the thing, okay? The jails in real life are full of people that are innocent. It happens. Even in the best system, even in an adversarial system where everybody's given the benefit of the doubt and you got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt and you get a jury of people in there, we know for a fact there's innocence projects in every single law school in the country. They go out there and they find people that didn't do it and they get DNA evidence 20 years later that there's no possible way that this guy could have committed the crime and they're exonerated. People make mistakes. Okay, so even if there's a process in place, even if it's the best, most airtight process in place, people still make mistakes.
The whole
and I think the difference here and the reason why I am, people are giving me a hard time about this, but I'm not going to be a dick. The fact is, I'm happy with CCP right now. I'm happy with how they handled this. I think they handled it the right way. They went back, they looked again, they talked to us, we worked it out. And they realized they made a mistake. And instead of doubling down and telling us to fuck off, which they easily could have done, they instead came back and went over the top, not only exonerated us, but apologized formally, got us back in the game, and then went out and did everything they could to try to make sure that everybody knew that we had not done what we were accused of.
And
They didn't have to do
I'm not
that.
gonna
And
lie,
that
did have
is
mitigating factors
right way to
against
do it.
you.
Well, okay.
Like you can't sit there and give total fucking credit to CCP.
I
on this
can, and I'm
because
going
you
to.
had mitigating factors.
I didn't have any
against you.
mitigating-
Some
Look,
of these
I may
people
have had
didn't
mitigating
the
fact- look.
luxury of mitigating factors against
Look,
them.
the fact that what I had going for me is the fact that I was innocent and didn't do it. I mean, that was the bottom
yes,
line.
there's that.
But the
There's
fact is that they were
Definitely, I
willing to
give you
sit
that
down.
base.
The fact that they were willing to sit down and listen and question whether or not they made a mistake, that is what we should want, and they deserve credit for that.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so like this goes back to what I was saying before. Like in the past, they've always just been like, bam. Once you're banned, like a lot of times they just, that's it, final. There's no going back. So the fact that they're willing to reopen this thing and relook at stuff with you, and they mentioned before that they're going to be changing their process in the future. Do you think that this is going to be a standardized thing now, that if someone gets banned, they're going to have the option to have them take a second look and reevaluate what they're banned
I don't know.
before?
I mean, I don't know.
Or is it, or do you think it's just
I-
a one-off with you guys?
What I am hoping is that knowing what happened here and how it was handled, and knowing that they realized that they made a mistake, which they've said publicly and they've apologized for, and they said they're going to go back through and look at their processes, and I'm going to keep advocating for this ombudsman idea because I think it's a pretty good one, and I've talked about it in a couple of places here in chat, and I've talked about it on TIS chat and other places. I think it's a good idea. That's what I'm going to advocate for. But I'm not on the CSM anymore, and so I'm not going to be having these direct conversations with the devs to tell them what I think. Maybe I'll run again someday. I don't know. And then if I do, and it still hasn't been resolved, then I'll bring it up again then. But I get the feeling that they're going to go back and they're going to look and do all this stuff. Now, there are a couple rumors I want to dispel. First of all, a lot of people have said Brisk told him he was going to sue him. I never said that. I have not at all, ever, not even, and people can say that the way that I worded my official statement at the very beginning when I said I would pursue all avenues available to me, that was a lawsuit threat. It was not. I'm a lawyer. If I'm going to threaten a lawsuit, it means I've got it in hand and I'm going to go file it. You don't make threats that you're not going to carry out. And I never wanted to and never intended to sue anybody over this thing.
Can you differentiate between people who speak fucking normal English and people who speak proper fucking English about how words mean?
Because look, all I can say is if I want to say if I want to say I'm going to sue you, then I will say I'm going to sue you. But I never had to go that route. I never had to go that route. I never had to have my lawyers talk to them. We never had to have some back and forth between the lawyers arguing or anything like that. It never happened. There was none of that. CCP did exactly what I wanted them to do. They talked to me, and from the beginning, it was the same people that I've been talking to on CSM forever, and we worked it out. And that was it. It didn't require any pressure. There was no threats. There was none of that stuff. These guys did the absolute right thing from the beginning, and they deserve credit for that.
If they did the right thing from the beginning, how come they posted that article about you going directly for the NDA?
After that.
All right.
After that. That was the mistake, and they've already owned up that was a mistake. And I'm not going to...
After 3 days,
that's the reality. Once they did that...
After 3 days, crazy things happen.
Let's say Pando Shines. I know we talked a lot about Brisk and how it's affected Brisk's real life. Do you guys want to touch on how it affected you guys in game or... obviously you're banned in game, but like out of game or your real lives?
Well, it didn't affect me in real life, really. I mean, obviously, it's stressful, right? I didn't sleep that well in the first 2 days because I actually thought they're probably going to double down and say, "Oh shit, that's going to be embarrassing if we now find out they're actually innocent. They didn't do anything." So let's just hope everyone forgets about it. Luckily, that wasn't the case. So it was stressful at the beginning because we spent a lot of time in this game, way too much time to be honest.
That was the one thing I thought was really funny. And Shines, did you want to say what happened to you before I talk more?
Pretty much the same as Pando. Like the first couple of days were pretty stressful. I think people say things are a video game, but like the one thing we had mentioned is that EVE is real and that people invest massive amounts of time. Like I've been playing EVE for half of my life, and to have that whipped out from under you is stressful. But like as soon as CCP started engaging, like you could tell from the start that they were serious about being helpful. They went out of their way to clarify what had happened and get everything sorted one way or the other, and they did that. So like what Brisk has been saying, props to CCP. Shit happens, mistakes, people make mistakes. That's just human nature.
And I think, it was weird. Like I had all of a sudden, and I didn't realize this until, I was done. The amount of time we spend in the game is just nuts. Like I was scheduling, work stuff around CSM meetings, and we were, I was doing I was checking the forums every 5 minutes to make sure I didn't miss anything, and we were logging into fleets all the time. We had fleets every day, and I was coming home from working, and I was playing EVE for like 2 or 3 hours a night minimum, and it was, and when you win EVE, even if it's by accident like this, I'm sitting around, I got all this free time. I've read almost all of Grant's memoirs. I've been trying to read that for 20 years, and I finally had time to sit down and do it. I was going to bed every night at 10 o'clock. I was working out. I wanted to read a book. I've been trying to read that book for 20 years. I was working out like 3 times a day. I got a new treadmill downstairs. I was getting on it every day. I was going out walking the dog. I had all kinds of, I was like, where did I get all this fucking free time? Oh, that's right. I'm not doing EVE anymore. So it was kind of freaky. Well, I don't know. I thought EVE was important.
I
still
got
think
some
it
free
is.
time. I read some Star Wars books.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I got Timothy Zahn to sign a book of mine today. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. He's supposed to be coming out with it. There's supposed to be a new Thrawn book coming out in this year.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now that you've been vindicated, you have said that you're not going to, like, you've resigned from the CSM. You're not going to run for CSM 14, which you are going to run for CSM 14, but whatever. But, like, if you don't, are you recommitted back to the game? There was a time when you sat there and said to me, I don't give a shit how this fucking ends up. I will never give them another fucking dime. Where are you now?
That was I felt that way on the first day, and it was to the point where I cleaned out. Like I still have I took every Eve related thing in my office and put them in a box and put it in the basement. Like I didn't even want to see it. But after a couple days, and when I started realizing, okay, this is going to be all right, and we're gonna work this out, and we'll get back in the game. At that point, I started thinking, shit, you guys know, everybody in the chat, everybody that's watching this game is addicting. It's freaking crack. And I've been playing for 12 years. I come and go, but I come back every time. Everybody does this, I feel like. I mean, if you haven't quit the game 2 or 3 times, in the time you've been playing it, then you haven't been around very long. So I kind of was like, and we were talking, Pano and I were talking, and Shines and I were talking, like, what are we going to do if we get back in? And like, we were like, we got to go fight somebody. We got to blow some shit up. And I was kind of jonesing for it. And now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I want to play again. So, look, I resigned from the CSM. I said, flat out, right now, it would be awkward.
Spend more time with family.
Well, look, that's not even really a joke. I mean, the reality is that I'd rather go and just, I've done my year. It's been more than, it was almost a year. The CSM voting season is going to start soon. Whenever they make the announcement about it,
I'm pretty sure that's the least surprising thing. Like, I mean, after all this stuff, I think everyone was pretty much expecting, like, if you were reinstated back in the game, that the CSM portion was done. Like that was.
Well, and that's the thing. Like,
or stick a dick back in it.
Well, and the thing is, I didn't want to
in it.
The smart ass. I mean, the fact is,
it just came to that.
It's obviously, it's at the end. I didn't want to fight anything. I didn't want to make it an issue. So I just said, look, I'll resign. And I was planning on running for CSM 14 before, and then all this happened, and I said, I don't want to do this. And in fact, I was honestly dreading running again, because I was talking to the guys and trying to figure out which block to talk to and who do I get behind me on this. And then I remember last time, the money that I spent and the time having to do the fucking commercial. The commercial took like a month and a half to film and do everything. And I was like, I got to do that again. And not only that, I got to come up with something that was funnier than the last one. And it was just so much stress. And then I said, I'm not going to do it.
Can I ask you a serious question? Under oath? Under oath? Your commercial was already made for the next CSM election series, wasn't it?
I have not even started. I had random
ideas though.
I had random ideas that I was putting together. Like I have on the dog's cage, I was gonna put like that swordless bunny guy, and like put a little bunny with like a scabbard that didn't have a sword in there, and like film that. I thought that would have been funny. I was trying to come up with some other random stuff and all the memes that I could work into, but I hadn't got beyond like starting to write it out, and it was starting to stress me out because I knew I had to get moving on this because this election season was going to start. So when this whole thing went down, I was just like, fine, I'm done. And then I was talking to everybody. I was talking to Aerith and some of the guys, and they're all like, you should run again. I'm like, I don't want to do it. But CCP flat out said, in the joint statement that we put out for the media, that I could run again if I wanted to, and maybe I will someday. But I need a break for right now. But I'm still going to be on the show. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to play the game. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to do the CSM thing for a while. That's it.
I was gonna say, Pando Shines, are you gonna jump right back in now that you're in band?
Well, I did the first fleet today, right? Had a full fleet. Everyone was having fun, so yes, I guess.
I'm sorry that I missed it. I was working.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I think everyone was disappointed. Where's Brisk?
Well, all right. Hopefully tomorrow we do some stuff because I will be around most of the day tomorrow.
I was just going to say, if anyone wants to come into Fountain with tread bombs, I'm more than happy to facilitate that.
Oh man, I would love to drop my Titan on some shit. You know what I should do?
Duncan,
I
to
should
answer
take
your
a
question, I'm always
kitchen
fucking
sink, roam
hardcore.
out, and kill everybody and die. That'd be great.
I threw a question out there. Did we not ask any fucking questions tonight that people want to know? So like, I actually want to fucking know whether or not like people have questions related to you guys in this situation before we get into what I'll call the fucking commentary stage of this shit, which will be the next 20 minutes. Before we get into Game of Thrones fucking spoilers if you bitches didn't watch it.
Someone's asking where in Fountain.
Anywhere in a pocket is all good.
Bring it in,
Hit all of
J5A.
No, somebody
the-
did ask who was the rat on the
That's
CSM.
yeah. I was gonna say
Honestly,
that's one
honestly,
that I don't think
honestly,
it was answered.
nothing, literally nothing related to the CSM has been proven by anybody. That may just be a line that CCP threw into that first dev blog. Does anybody have anything that will contradict that?
Well, you don't
Which
know
part?
if it was one person, multiple people, all of them. None of it has been released.
I
Well,
don't believe it was all of them.
We haven't
because-
Not
heard
publicly.
anything associated with any
But
of
it wasn't all of them. That's all I can say. Right. Not. It's
Like,
also
hold
not-
on. There's
it's
a
not
whole bunch
major
of
part
Short
the season.
Dragon. There's a whole bunch of fucking Killer Bee. There's a whole bunch of all that shit. But like, honestly, when it comes down to it, the real problem was not with whether or not this shit got fucking metagamed by people out there. It came down to how was it handled at the corporate level to like result in
CCP
the
still has to
sanctions.
look at the evidence. Just because someone
Guys,
blows a whistle,
You're never
doesn't mean
gonna
that-
look. I'll tell you flat out right now. Okay, all of that conversation is an absolute waste of time because one, you're never gonna find out because they're not gonna say anything because it's all NDA, obviously, and two, I'm not gonna speculate because I'm not an asshole and I'm not gonna accuse somebody of doing something to me when I don't have the evidence. Just like I don't want them accusing me of shit when they don't have the evidence.
Well,
So I'm not going to do that.
Well, what,
So
what
I'm
I was
not,
saying
I'm not
is-
even going to
But-
speculate.
So technically, whoever that was, we can all speculate who it was, but it doesn't even matter.
doesn't
Like,
matter. Exactly.
If he just brings up concerns to CCP, like he probably expects them to check the stuff, and if they ban, then he might have been correct, and if not, then nothing happens, right?
Does
So-
it matter? Does it matter?
It doesn't
if
matter
the
at all.
origins of this entire story was a metagame thing. Does it matter? The only thing that fucking matters, like, is at the CCP level, and therefore that might be something that we
But
want to
that's
discuss.
the thing. How are that? We're never going to know. We're never going to know.
saying
So
that.
what?
could take it
So
down
what
to
if we're not gonna know?
You could take it
Like,
down to a
who
different
cares?
level.
I mean, if you guys want to speculate about it, go ahead. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
no,
look,
no.
they-
We're not speculating about who.
coming after
speculate.
coming after me and getting our two strategic FCs banned. Okay, yeah, that somebody just headshot in it. Could there be a metagame to that?
I don't think
Possible.
I don't think there's
Is
any
it probable? Probably not. But it's
I-
possible, sure. Who knows?
So-
I think
tinfoil
the
stuff.
links between everything was so tenuous that you couldn't even plan a headshot like that. Like I just don't think it's.
Well, if that was a headshot, like holy shit, that was some good stuff.
I was gonna say that seems like
That's-
super
that's a
far-fetched. That'd be
pretty,
me like, that's like me like going, oh
That's
hey
James-
CCP,
James Bond
like
level.
Killer Bees leaking shit to XYZ
boom,
directors of NC dot. You should ban them. And then CCP's like, yeah, Rain, we trust you, or they just don't do whatever investigative research they do and they just ban them. Then that's on them. That's not on
Yeah.
me. Or
Well,
else, like
and-
if I do it to Aerith
and-
and nominate, like
What I
like
was
that could be anyone doing it, not CSM.
Look, I'll tell you flat out right now. Aerith and I are very good friends. Merc and I are extremely good friends. Sort and I get along very well. Judge and I have never had a crossword with each other. I mean, Nominate and I talk about guns all the time. I do stuff with these guys. I've gotten to know all the other CSM members pretty well. Jintan and I have had drinks together a bunch of times. I mean, and I see him in fleets. So look, I know all these guys, and up until this situation, and even afterwards, I consider almost all of them my friends. So I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. I don't
Did
want
that
to.
change? Did that change over the course of like the last 3 weeks?
Not really. I mean, none of my opinions about people really changed. I will say that.
The thing I was going to get at, it's not necessarily, it's not a speculation like who actually did it in this case. I'm saying that not even taking this particular case into account, like even if someone to try and like headshot or do some like weird metagaming thing reports someone for like botting or RMT, or reports them for trying to get them banned, it's still on CCP to look at the evidence on hand that they have and just determine whether that report or accusation has merit to it or not. So regardless of if this was some kind of, I don't think there was some like over the top level tinfoil, like that's too much for me to think that anything that was going on. But even if there was, it's still on CCP to like look at it and be like, are we getting played, or is there actual evidence to this?
It's on CCP to not start a gigantic witch hunt spanning a month. I think that's a pretty fair assumption.
Time out. CCP.
I'm
Is
all
there
into gibberish.
anybody that is in this channel right now that believes that CCP started this witch hunt?
No,
Nope.
I don't think CCP started. I think it was brought up by someone, and then they looked
Do we
into it.
believe that CCP was utilizing this witch hunt and were the actual fucking executioners of this witch hunt? Sir fucking Illen, bring me his fucking head. Like there was a point between
CCP
when
is
the
judge,
actual
jury,
witch hunt
and
happened
executioner.
and Sir Illen like actually lifted the fucking head.
CCP is judge, jury, and executioner, though. Like, players can't ban each other. CSM can't ban each other.
That's right.
We can bring all the evidence we want to CCP.
Who the fuck is Baelish?
Yeah. Players can't post a dev blog either.
Yeah, and I think a couple weeks ago we all said the
That's
dev
what
blog.
these people. That's what these people in the fucking rabble audience want to know. Who's Baelish, right? But you know who Baelish is. Like you know who Baelish is. But that doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the people that wanted to believe Baelish.
I hated.
And I know I'm talking Game of Thrones tropes here, but you still.
I understand. Look, guys. Look. It's like I said. Okay. Here's the bottom line, the absolute bottom line. CCP had information. They looked at it. They made a mistake. They took the actions that they took. They talked to us. They realized they made a mistake, and they fixed it. Everything is back to normal.
Right.
Now, yes, I'm not on the CSM, but that's my decision. That was my decision. I'm not running again this year. Again, my decision. If I choose to run again, that will also be my decision. As far as I know, and I don't believe that anybody here was coming after me, trying to do me harm, trying to hurt us. We don't have any information that would back that up. Now, people ask, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. It's also possible that everybody at CCP are space aliens, and that this was a plan, hatched to destroy, somebody who's been to the White House before. It's not. It's not even. It's
that's
not
way
likely.
Too deep fucking meta.
It's not, and that's the thing. So I want everybody to realize, and I've said this before, I give CCP props for fixing this and for apologizing and for doing the right thing, because they didn't have to do that. They could have clammed up. They could have told me to pound sand. They could have told Pando and Shines, fuck it, you guys are banned, deal with it. They didn't do that. They fixed it. So I give them credit for that. As far as the CSM is concerned, look, like I said before, none of my opinions have changed about any of the guys in there. My friends are my friends. I wish them all well. I know they're going to have a hard time with this because this whole thing has damaged the institution, and that sucks. And I hope that they can fix it. And I would like to help them try to fix it. But the fact is, I think Drayden, you might have said it, or maybe Rain said it, but if the CSM members get the belief, or they have an idea, or they think that somebody on the CSM may be leaking, then yeah, they should go and tell.
Of course they should.
Those guys look at. I mean, I can't argue that that's not something that should have happened.
Right.
And honestly, but the bottom line is, any accusation that is brought with like even a remote form of substantiation should be like pushed forward.
Right. Someone makes a
claim.
The
only thing anybody gives a shit about is what happens after that.
It's up to them to determine whether the claim has merit or not.
And they take a look at it. Corroboration is being used above that point.
So
look,
I mean, like,
because these fucking monkeys on the goddamn CSM are just people who got voted in by a fucking block out there. We know this shit. Look, so it's like they don't get fucking extra fucking credit for the fact that they got voted in. Goddamn. Please stop.
Well, they should get credit for winning because it takes effort to do that.
I mean, there can only be 10.
But look, I mean, the whole point is The CSM doesn't need to be disbanded. There doesn't need to be
No.
a ton of reform. There doesn't need to be any. I mean, part of the problem is that there's this perception out there that the CSM leaks all the time, which is bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Anyway,
Well,
it is bullshit. I mean, the fact is, when it happens, it gets dealt with. But for the most part, a lot of these
leaks now are all completely fucking questionable, because if you've got one or two other people, they can talk amongst each other, and it's like it's not a leak anymore. But it is still.
That's the thing. I mean, look, the bottom line for me is that I think the changes that need to get made are around the process of how they ban people and things like that, which I said. We need an ombudsman, somebody that works for CCP, whose job is to advocate on behalf of the players internally when bad things are going to happen to people because of whatever. Just to make sure that they're double checking and they're going through their processes and they're doing things the right way. And then that person's job is to be the skeptic on the staff and to say, all right, is this all you really have? Do you really think this is, I don't think we should do this, that type of thing. A lot of groups have that. I was reading it. The New York Times has an ombudsman, and they do all kinds of articles every once in a while from the ombudsman saying stuff. But I think that's what they need to do.
Can I ask for one person to be brought onto the show right now?
Who's that?
I don't give Sir Duncan. I want Sir Duncan in fucking Twitch chat to actually get himself into fucking voice right now.
Then whisper him and give him the thing.
Motherfucker, step the fuck up, bring your fucking bottle of whatever you fucking got, and get into my fucking channel.
Gibberish, you were trying to say something?
I'm throwing it the fuck
Just
out
let you know,
there.
we got 10 minutes.
I think I was being too polite.
We got 10 minutes till Game of Thrones talk time.
All right, Gibberish,
we got 10 minutes till Game of Thrones.
Shut the fuck up.
And by the way,
Gibberish
10
is
minutes
talking.
until Game
Yeah,
of Thrones
shut up,
means we
Jared.
haven't raped a
Jesus
topic
Christ.
that I need to ask people to.
Jesus fuck. Okay, go.
Oh, thank
We got
fucking
you.
God.
It took me like 3 fucking times. Holy shit, I'm
Brisk, I
sorry.
was gonna say, you do politician you, we'll do angry drunk people us.
Because
That's fine.
Because we
That's
have
fine.
to
Go
actually
ahead.
break down. Because we have to go back in fucking time and break down the initial fucking thing from CCP on their fucking final report.
Did he stop talking?
All right. So Starset asked me, what would you say to someone who's lost faith in the CSM as a concept and just see it as a scapegoat? It's not. I mean, look, the point of the CSM is, as it has been from the beginning, is to have a group of players whose job is to go to CCP and advocate and talk about what the players want and give them insights as to how the game is actually played and what, these changes, potential changes or new ideas could have an impact on the player base. That's the whole point of it. And that's what it's there for. And they do a good job. I mean, the fact is, the number of things that were brought to us that we talked about and we worked through, I think the product that came out at the end was much better than it would have been if no players had been talked to in that process. And sure, there may be other ways to talk to players, focus groups and stuff like that, but having 10 people who are designed, whose job is to go in and talk to these folks and that they can get to know and build relationships with, I think that's important. So I think it's a good institution. I think I would encourage people to run for it. It was a very interesting time period for me. Yeah, the way it ended kind of was shitty, and obviously, somebody made a joke before, asked me, did you think it was a risk to tie your real life to this when you ran for the CS? I'm like, yeah, the risk was by doing that I would win. That was the risk, and it happened. So, I mean, the fact is, I enjoyed the time. I liked getting to go to Iceland. I got to meet a whole bunch of new people. Most of them were pretty cool, and I liked them a lot. And I still talk to those guys. And I bear no ill will to the company, and I want it to succeed because I want it to succeed because I love this game and I love the community. So yes, what happened to me was unfortunate. It sucked, but they fixed it. And as far as I'm concerned, we're even. So I'm going to get back to playing the game, and that's the bottom line.
You're allowed to be a little upset, right? Like you're
I
not
was,
running
I
anymore.
would look,
You don't have
I
to do
was,
this anymore.
I'm not. I mean, the point is, like the first couple days,
We were upset for like 2
I
weeks
was-
straight, all right?
I was
Like,
pretty fucking pissed. I was mad, but it's like, after a while, look, I'm an adult. I'm not a vindictive person. And my wife gives me a hard time about this all the time because, I've been stabbed in the back in real life politics a dozen times by close friends, by people that I've helped, and it becomes, you get numb to it after a while. And she's always like, why don't you hate these people? I'm like, because I'm not gonna to give into that. I can forgive folks that harm me, especially ones that come back and say, look, I'm sorry, I fucked up, I apologize. Like all the guys that said really nasty shit on Reddit and then came back and said, you know what, I apologize, I was wrong. I like those guys. Those are the good guys. It's the guys like Doom Chinchilla who say nasty shit, and then when you prove them wrong, like go into like a cone of silence and never acknowledge they ever said anything wrong. Those are the people that I don't like. But everybody else, the guys, if you apologize, I'm going to accept your apology. I'm not one of these dicks who say, oh, you were mean to me, fuck off. I'm not going to do that.
Hey,
I'm not going to do that CCP either. It's just that's not my nature. I've never been that way.
At the beginning of the night, you want to call people the fuck out, not by name, but by organization, by where they hang out in fucking Discord channels. Hold on. When you say fuck the haters, what do you mean by that?
So you had a lot of people who sit there and they just talk shit because they think they can talk shit, and then the like roles reverse where Brisk gets unbanned. So right, so like I was a super skeptic when Brisk was banned. I was like, did he fuck up? Like, did CCP fuck up? I was super hesitant. But I saw all these people
we
just
legit
spitting
had
shit,
some skepticism, right?
Yeah, we internally did. So I was like super hesitant, and like I've been hesitant before, but like this was like the biggest part of me being hesitant. I'm like, why are all these people talking shit? Like people who don't interact with Brisk, they just talk shit about Brisk all the time, and now they're publicly talking shit, etc., etc. And then the roles reverse where Brisk is unbanned. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run with my tail between my legs because I'm a piece of shit, and I think it's only okay to talk shit. And they're the same fucks who think that they can talk shit about me or about other people, or they just talk shit because they think they can talk shit. And now, yes, I eat ass, and now they're getting fucking thrown onto the ground and shit on. And
you ate ass when you were in fucking Black Legion, but that's what they did.
I eat ass all the fucking time, Dirk. It doesn't matter who I fly with.
Oh my god, you don't eat ass every time. It's like Black Legion time.
No, fuck off. But anyway, Black Legion is dead, and the fact that Brisk is sitting here, and Brisk is really humble, so like all I would do if I were him, I would just be fucking dumpstering on all the haters and just DMing people, being like, hey, fuck you, you piece of shit, talking smack, I'm winning. But Brisk isn't like that, so instead I would rather do it. I do it for him. So I'm sitting here just
but
like, I don't know,
the whole idea of people out there running their mouth in a fucking anonymous standpoint is just literally they've got nothing left in their fucking life but running their mouth. They don't give a shit if Brisk is right or wrong. This is this is the whole fucking worst part of the battle.
You ever
this is the
think
whole
like
worst part of the
internet
like,
battle
on any of this shit is they don't give a shit.
Oh, I
they're
graduated
right
high
if they're
school.
right.
People are going to be adults, right? Adults are going to be adults, right, team? Right? Like, we're all adults. We're all mature people. No, they're pieces of fucking
world are you living in? That's not right.
And they're still being pieces of shit. And you shut the fuck up, Moosey, you piece of shit, sitting there and chat like a little bitch.
They don't give a shit. So why do you buy
shit on, fucking loser?
Why do you buy the low-level shit they trope out there when, guess what? When things go the other way, they also fucking buy into the fucking other side of it. It's like, it's a fucking spread call. It's like, why even fucking like roll into that? You know the motherfuckers
like,
that are those kinds of pussies out there.
No. I mean, we called them out before, right? Like Steve Messner was a piece of shit with his article.
No. Hold on. Time out. And I want to actually.
Now you're gonna backtrack on Steve. You're gonna defend Steve.
Hold on. Give me 30 seconds. I'll defend Steve. Can you give me that? Can you give me?
Go.
I can defend Steve too.
Can you give me 30 before you
defend Steve.
douche up and fucking mute me?
30 seconds. The clock is ticking.
Okay,
how
about that?
I'll defend Steve.
You
know what? The first person out of the gate with an article saying I didn't do it was Steve Messner. So there you go.
If that's what you got out of it, props for you, motherfucker. Okay. However, bunch of us motherfuckers, me included, fucking like nerfed that shit based on the fact that he exorbitantly used your fucking name way more than was fucking necessary. That being said, I have done a review of my own internal processes over the course of the last week, and I want to throw a fucking shout out to Steve Messner for being like, you know what, dude? You were actually the one legitimate fucking, gamer journalist, lol, okay? What you do. So I would like to now apologize and also reinstate you as a legit motherfucker.
Like you're authorized.
That's my final statement. That's my final statement.
Dirk is the supreme overlord of cons.
No, I'm just saying.
So Steve Messner's.
I apologized. I apparently reinstated him to not being a fucking dick. Done.
Cool.
Like I said, he was the first one with an article out of the gate, and while I asked other people, I said, "Are you guys going to do articles, or are you just going to update your last one?" He got back to me and said, "Oh, absolutely, we're doing an article right away." So, thank you, Steve. I'm happy you did that.
Is Steve a player?
I believe so. He has more knowledge of the game than other journalists. I'm 99% sure he actually like actively plays.
The Kotaku guy is a player, right?
Yes.
He's a kid.
Saren?
But
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
believe
write
so.
another article, did they? 'Cause there's
I
no
actually
one by
don't
him
know.
yet.
They did like a blurb and updated their last post, the original story.
Yeah, with a slight appendage at the end of the headline, like 2 weeks after the fact when no one's reading it.
We Game of Thrones.
Wait. Oh, are we all talking about the
It's-
same fucking articles and
No, we're
like how
talking
they got
different stuff.
updated over time?
All right. So, do you guys do you need Shines or Pando anymore? Can they go to bed? Because it's like 3
No,
a.m.
they can go to bed.
Do you guys have anything else
Right.
you want to
It's
you want to
what?
do shout
3
outs?
a.m.? Are you kidding me?
3 a.m. for Shines. It's like
4:45.
Do you want
There
to
you
do you want to do shout outs or anything?
Dirk's
Shines
like
and Panda?
Dirk's like one of those trading. I bet he's
Yeah.
got a clock on the wall. It's like Pando time, Dark Shine's time,
Yes.
Hong Kong.
Because I asked the
time.
question earlier, where are they from? And I've been like calculating that shit.
So I just wanted to say two things. The first one was kind of the one thing that was mentioned was everyone being mad at CCP, but like as one of the affected, what I took from it was CCP made a mistake, CCP fixed the mistake, and CCP apologized. While all that was happening, there was a subset of the community who, shit on us pretty hard, and of that subset, a small percentage have apologized and said they were wrong. The rest are standing by their quotation marks memeing and all that other shit. I think people just need to take into account that at the end of the day, everyone's a person sitting behind the computer screen,
Yeah, even
and
Doom
that's just something to remember.
Oh, sorry.
Even Doom Chinchilla.
Yeah, even Doom Chinchilla admitted he
He's
was
also
wrong.
a person, even though he is a huge
He
piece
didn't
of shit.
apologize. He's like, I'm
Also a
not sorry,
person.
but I was wrong.
Who?
Doom
What's-
Chinchilla.
what's that?
I don't know.
What's that?
Some
You
fucking
admit you're
chinchilla
wrong?
fucking guy. He's got a travel service or
He's-
something. I
he
don't
is
know.
I have no clue who the
salty
fuck that
motherfucker.
is.
You don't know who
I don't know
Doom
who it
is?
is either.
He's a salty kid, but
From some
I
Blood
guess we're
Alliance
all
or something. I'm not.
I'm
sure.
not even sure why people even talk about this guy. Like, what the
Look.
fuck is he even known for?
Am I
Thank you,
wrong for
Nick.
I don't
liking
even
Doom?
know. I think he's
Doom's
just
a
known
nice
for being
man.
salty.
How did he weasel himself into this? I don't even know.
Pretty sure it's just a
the
Pan-
last-
Pando,
he
did you
just
have any
likes
shout
to
outs?
say nasty stuff about me, maybe. But-
Yeah, I have a shout out to all the good guys actually. Like, we constantly got convos from people. They like our guys. They all knew this was bullshit from the start, so they convoed us like constantly, and none of them were trying to like figure out like what the fuck did we do. They all knew that was complete bullshit. So, let's keep it positive, right?
So when I logged back in the game for the first time today, I had an email from a guy, and it just said "cunt." That was it. So
Wow.
I responded to,
Wow.
something I can help
Hold
you
on, hold on.
with.
By the way, he was British or Australian. I just
Yes,
want to
of
throw that
course,
out
or-
there from like a
Right,
cultural
obviously.
language
Those are the two
standpoint.
groups.
But
of
it just,
people
but
that
I
are
was
allowed
I
to
was
say
like laughing. I was like,
Or
so
Scottish.
the guy finds out that I'm
Whatever,
banned, knows I'm
Scottish,
never going to
like
be
they
able
have
to
a
respond to
country.
this. So he sends me this note. So when I get back, I'll write back, like, is there anything I can do to help? And he responds like in like 2 seconds, like, well, since you didn't do it, no. I was like, okay.
Oh,
Come on, guys.
I just want to quickly mention as well. Sorry, that,
Deny that.
While
Never mind.
obviously myself and Pando were kind of taken out of the picture
And
for a
honestly,
few
now I need
weeks.
to go find that motherfucker and ban
Hold on,
mercilessly.
Dark Shine's giving his statement. Go Dark.
While myself, Pando, and Brisk were taken out of the picture for a while, obviously we FC quite a bit. Like, there's a whole other FC team, behind us who absolutely stepped up and got the shit done that needed to be done, and made sure things were looked after. So props to those guys as well. And that's
A
it.
big thank you to my co-mates running shifts, entertaining me. Especially Gimpy, he stepped up.
They actually had to have Pando, like, people had to babysit him to make sure he was playing games and not bored. Because we worry about him when he doesn't have Eve.
Do you guys feel vindicated Do you feel that now is the time where you need to grasp fucking Eve by the balls and actually fucking roll out there and be like, fuck this shit, we're gonna burn it all down? Like, even,
I'm ready
like,
for a fight.
knowing that the Imperium
I'm
is
ready
just
to
like
fight.
ratting and mining and shit behind you.
I want.
Brisk, if
I
you were in
want
charge, where would the
a
fight go?
Where the fight go? Why would it have to
Phantom.
go anywhere? We've been deployed to Hackenen for what, 3 months? I want to just
Oh my
blow
god,
up
you guys are
everything
in
around
fucking
us.
hack?
Let's blow up everything.
Hakonin! Come
Well,
on.
you guys are
Come
you
on,
guys
why
are
not?
fighting us in Ethereum Reach, aren't you?
I want to kill Drayden right now. I want to go blow
What-
up
what
every,
Drayden
every
undock,
Sino
you
ship he
pussy.
has. I want to blow
Well,
it
that
up.
was, it was on.
Undock
it
your
was-
facts, Drayden.
It was
Take
on my
to Black
alt,
Corner.
but no, it was on my alt. It wasn't even an NC dot guy. I was just moving my jump freighter around, but I got it was instant too.
Wait,
It's-
you can still move a jump freighter around while these guys are there?
Yeah, well,
Even while Brisk is banned?
no, it was in Milet.
How does this world even
Why do you-
fucking work
he
anymore?
did that because I was banned. He knew I wasn't going to come kill him.
No, it
That's
was in
what
Milet. I
it
was just moving it to Jan because so once our deployment's over, I can get shit over to Tribute easy. But no, I just lit it. The guy showed up instantly. Like, I lit the Sino within two. Like, my jump freighter hadn't even loaded on the screen yet, and he was already locking me up. I'm like, fuck, is this going to cause my jump freighter to go into the sun? Like, holy
There
shit.
you go.
He was fast.
Look, I
And
just
the
wanna blow
luckily the
stuff
caracal,
up.
so it took like 10 seconds for the missiles to hit me and kill me. But
I want to go on a Pando Stuka fleet. I want to go and pour out of a wormhole and kill some Rorks and scare people. I want to go do that. That's what I want to do. And I don't pretty much care who it
there's
is.
fights to be had in Ethereum Reach. That's where all this shit's going down right now. So
All right, look, 10:51 p.m. I gotta be honest. It's like
Game of Thrones.
there's a whole lot of fucking
Game of
Game of
Thrones time?
Thrones.
Game
I
of
wanna
Thrones.
roll
No,
shit
there's
up.
no-
Good night, Shines.
I
Good
gotta
night,
go
Pando.
fucking take a piss.
You guys wanna head
Whenever
out?
I'm coming
In
back,
the
I'm talking about how
halls
like
of the
dragons
kings who are
killed
gone,
fucking everybody when I
Jenny
fucking come back.
would dance with her ghost.
Yeah, we'll do a shot while we're listening to
The
old
ones she had lost
Podrick.
and the ones she had found, and the ones who had loved her the most, the ones who'd been gone for so very long. She couldn't remember their names. They spun her around on the damp old stones, spun away all her sorrow and pain, and she never wanted to leave.
All right,
Alright.
so the
Podrick
sex
is
scene.
Whoa, hold
Sex
on.
scene. No,
Wait,
we're
wait.
jumping right in.
No,
Sex scene
Rain,
was really
stop.
awkward.
Rain, stop.
Like
for-
watching your little sister
Rain!
getting freaky. You're like, what the fuck?
Stop for a second. Hold on. We gotta give the spoiler warning that we do this.
Throw
the spoiler
warning and
spoiler
let's
warning.
roll.
If you're fucking new here and
I
you
thought
hear
I
a Game of
did
Thrones
that when I
sign, you're
fucking
not.
said my words.
Well, hold on. Official spoiler warning. If you have not seen Game of Thrones from last weekend, tune out now. We're going to the spoilers. Now, okay, now let's get into it.
Okay, the fucking sex scene, that was like the weirdest shit ever.
Why was
like,
it
normally the other sex scenes kind of make me uncomfortable, but I'm like,
on.
"Ah,"
Don't say
like,
the
whole
sex
time.
scene
Why was it
when you
weird?
mean the sex
Yeah.
scene.
I said the sex scene. Just because you can't hear
No.
me and you're trying to fucking project, Dirk, doesn't mean
See,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't find
That
it
scene
weird.
was in line with that character.
I
That's
don't.
good to go.
Yeah, I don't find it weird at all. It wasn't even like
No,
a super gratuitous sex scene.
Arya is like my little sister, and I'm my little sister. and
Look,
it's
look,
fucking
that's-
weird.
Does your little
For,
sister
Okay,
have
for
many faces and
everybody
kill
who is part of the
motherfuckers?
287 people in Twitch chat right now who fucking got a fucking hardy for fucking Arya, it's like, look, you guys all need to chill the fuck out and be like, that was not her. That was just a
It
girl
was her.
who's
No.
trying to be a fucking girl in a man's
No.
world.
Dirk.
Chill your fucking asses
Oh.
out. And actually, right now, if you say stupid fucking shit out there in Twitch chat, you get banned.
No, it was.
You just will because Twitch.
Yeah, no, it was Macy Williams. A lot of people are saying
So be
body
chill.
double. She said in an interview herself that was not a body double. That was her. But
But she was very
So
modest
she-
with it.
she
She was
got
very
sex-
modest.
right,
with it.
but
Wait a second.
But
There
the
was
thing is,
just
like,
one
they
boob in the
gave
picture.
her-
Like, what the
Yeah, you
fuck?
got some
You
side
couldn't see a
boobs. Not that
nipple.
big
It
of a
doesn't
deal.
count.
It was
It's not
side-
a
it
boob.
was
It
side
doesn't
thing.
nipple.
fucking count. Nobody
Bottom
gives
line
a
is-
shit.
wait,
Her
hold on.
character's 18. She's like 22.
character's 18, she's
everybody else
22.
has had. Everybody else on the show has had a sex
Every
scene. Why does it
fucking
matter?
perv in Eve was like, my ship doesn't work as well now because Arya fucking got nasty with the fucking guy
Well, and-
that
oh,
like
hold on,
bangs
hold on.
swords.
Now, hold on. Abraham is a tasteful side boob. Yeah, tasteful side boob. And here's the thing: the
It
producers.
was. If you actually fucking watched it, except
I
for
know,
these
but hold on.
fucking nerds who were tweet fleeting it.
Hold on. The producers, when she saw it in the script, she said in an interview, that Sophie Turner, Sansa, called her and was like, you got to check the script out, this episode, this part. And then she looked at it and she thought it was a joke because apparently Game of Thrones writers and staff and stuff have fucked and pranked the actors into writing in stuff that wasn't actually real. Like, apparently in one of the seasons, they wrote in that Jon Snow was going to get his face disfigured, and he was prepping for that, and then it came time to shoot it, and they're like, no, that doesn't happen. So she thought it was a joke, and then they got to a table reading, and she found out, oh no, this is really going to happen. But then they came to her and said, this is good. This is going to be the scene, but we're going to leave it up to you to show as much or as little as you want. So that's up to you. And she said it didn't make sense for it to, do like an Arya flash scene. So she's like, it's going to be a sex scene, but kind of modest. And that's why she had it done.
Was that in the middle of the show? Was that the beginning of the show? Where the fuck we starting off with the fucking recap of like Game of Thrones?
Because
Why do we have to do a
Spoiler,
recap? Why can't we
Arya
just
has
talk
sex.
about the stuff
Everyone's
that
The
hyping
happened?
the
only
Arya sex
spoiler is
scene.
Arya have sex.
It's
What
the
other
most
spoilers
talked
are?
about
None.
part of that episode.
I get that. But we're supposed to be. We're open comms. We're supposed to be above that.
No,
Right, well,
we're
I'm just
we're
saying,
talking
like,
about
that
sex.
was
Or
the
like
background.
When have we
Or
ever
like
been
whatever.
above that?
Wherever we're supposed to be, it's like not on the same level of like every other fucking generic motherfucker out there.
Yeah,
I
those
liked-
are definitely D cups.
Yeah,
Just saying.
They weren't D cup.
Men
Jesus
are too
Christ,
fucking
where did you
stupid for
grow
this.
up
To,
with
no,
a
don't
D
even.
cup?
No.
I don't think, but the thing is, like, I like Tormund was exceptionally good in this one. I mean,
Tormund had some exceptional lines where he's just like, you know what? Hold on. This entire
the
hold on.
whole
And let me
giantess
Let me back up. This entire
suckling
episode was
story
about. This entire episode was about shit's about ready to go down. We're just talking shit about motherfuckers who are ready to lay a fucking sword down out there. It's like we're just here now, but like, you know what? I remember back in the fucking day when I was like, God damn, girl, I love fucking breast milk from a dragon.
Like, Tormund has always been one of my favorite characters.
Dragons don't have breasts, Dirk.
Fucking love Tormund.
Dragons have breasts. Shut up! Don't like.
They don't have nipples. They don't feed their young via milk, Dirk. They're reptiles.
But they're dragons. You don't know what they have.
Yeah, they're not
Yes,
mammals.
I do. I watched
Stop
the
it.
fucking show.
Stop it.
There's no teats on reptiles, Dirk. Just saying.
Don't
Are we
they?
really? Have we descended to that point where we're talking
Like,
about nipples?
are
on
we
reptiles?
actually getting into the science of
I
this
mean,
shit?
Well, I'm just
Ghost?
Because
Can we
we've
give
never
a
done
shout
that
out to
before.
Ghost
We've never
for
been
staying
like, you know, how
alive?
did this shit fucking happen from a science
But
standpoint?
anyway, so yeah, the Tormund thing. But yeah, the thing with this episode, again, no one died. Like, it's shocking that.
Oh my god! Oh my
It's
god.
a table setter.
Well, hold on.
It's a table
which is
setter.
really bad because 4 episodes left. But oh my god, there's a whole slew of people gonna
Bruh.
die.
Right. Yeah, obviously, next episode we're like, because I think I mentioned last week. I don't really remember, but we started this whole. It's a list of all the not just the
In
main
the
characters.
opening credits, Sam dies next week.
Well, not just the main characters, but a lot of the side characters. Like it even has like Beric Dondarrion and the what the fuck is his name? The other guy from the Wall, like, not John or Sam, but their friend from the Wall up there. Like the only 3 that are
that
left.
other guy on the wall?
Yeah, I forget
He
his
had
name.
a red shirt on. Did you see his red shirt? They Star Trekked his ass.
Right,
Yeah.
but well, anyway, we have a whole game. It has all the characters, and you X whether you think they live by the end or die by the end, and then there's another column of if they die, do they turn into a White Walker? And we have that whole thing, and there's it's like a bracket. It's like there's a
the whole
point count.
White Walker thing is a different story.
There's a point count, and so far no one has been able to take the lead because no one's died. But tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Sunday, I guarantee there's gonna be a bunch of highlights and crossouts.
I swear
on
to
that
God,
sheet.
this is exactly. Hold on, there shouldn't be a fucking Eve bet anymore. There should be a fucking Game of Thrones bet now.
Yeah,
And this is where Bam
yeah,
Stoker
that's
could have
the-
made some fucking Eve-esque and
Oh
shit like
yeah,
that.
dude! Like I was actually, who was I talking with earlier in the chat?
Like
about,
people should be betting this right now.
was King
When
Ares,
does
but
Tony
someone else.
Soprano die? I don't know when Jon Snow dies.
Yeah, King Ares and someone else in the chat. I was talking with her. I was like, man, I
Again.
really miss Eve bet because it actually made me care a lot about not just
About when
Lions
people
Tournament more,
die.
but other things. But also yes, things like this. It's like you could bet Isk on things. Yeah, well, it was King. Yeah, so King Ares, it was you. There was someone else that I was talking about, but it's like you could bet Isk on stuff like this. You could have lines of who's gonna live, who's gonna die, and you could have this shit and make some Isk, and it'd be fun. And they just had to go and kill it.
Overall, overall, if we had to like encompass this second episode like the way we did last week, right? This was not just people coming together, it was people readying for the fight, right? Like it was still a fucking downer moment in the grand scheme of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. This
I
is
don't
just
think it was a
more
downer
chess
moment.
pieces
Look,
Even though there was sex
This
involved,
is-
apparently
but
from
this
a
is the thing, like-
slender
I don't think it was a
lady.
downer. I think
no,
it's just like
this was great. This was all about the characters, and everybody knows that there's going to be a giant fucking battle. But I mean, this is a standard thing that a lot of these books about war and books and stuff like they don't talk about.
About
Like,
the
you
eve
know,
of
you're going to go
battle.
into fight the next day. The shit that people do before that. I like that. That's human. You know, it's like the guys in the Civil War. You know, because I'm reading this Grant book. I'm reading all this stuff. Like before a big battle, they're all sitting around the night before, and they're pinning their name and little wills in the back of their shirts. So if they die, people can figure out what corpse they are and send their stuff back to their families. Stuff like that. You never see that when you're reading half these stories about war. You know, nobody writes that kind of stuff, and I like seeing that in Game of Thrones. It kind
I
of
actually
back and
think
make you
they
realize
threw this out there fucking hardcore. This is the eve of battle. This is the things where people
one of the biggest
like,
battles.
even when people were are sitting there talking about the fucking jokes involved and shit like that, it's like that's the fucking dark humor on the eve of battle kind of like scenario that like all of you read about in fucking comic books and shit like that.
Well, well, I mean, this is it's like it's not just the eve of a battle; it's the eve of probably the biggest battle of everyone here.
Whatever fucking battle you're in,
It
when
doesn't
you
matter.
think
So it's like, I mean,
tomorrow's
like,
going to be like a really hardcore
there are
motherfucker.
people that do this whole thing. Like, I mean, you look at like there's a bunch of transcripts from like World War One and stuff like that, where people that they're like, I'm gonna be going up over the wall tomorrow, and they're writing their loved ones like a potential like I might not be alive tomorrow. I might, and they
Are
write
you
this
guys
whole-
gonna be mad
That's
if
what this
fucking
episode
Ice King
is.
snaps a fucking finger and like
This
Jon
episode
Snow
is
is
that.
fucking dead and like whatever.
This
So you have
episode
the
is
Infinity
everyone
Stones?
coming to terms with their potential mortality on the next day, and they're all doing it in different ways. Some people are just up on the like the Hound and them are up on the wall, just saying fuck it, let's just hang out here and get drunk. And then you've got the people like Tyrion, which I fucking love that Tyrion is kind of getting back to his old drunken self, but like
I drink and I know things.
I drink and I know things type of thing. Like
Why
him
would
pouring
he
the
not?
full cup for Podrick, like little nuances like that are great. But like it's like they're having a party and telling stories and all
Holy
kinds of stuff
shit!
like
I'm the
that.
fucking Tyrion Lannister of this fucking show.
And then you got
Bro.
Arya, who's like, you know what? Hey, I'm a
Lady
virgin.
Brienne.
I don't want to die a virgin. So hey,
Sir,
let's bang.
Sir Lady Brienne. Think about that.
Sir Lady Brienne. Tyrann
Oh,
Lannister,
Night
what's up,
now.
man?
Hold on. There was that whole fucking moment where she got fucking knighted, right? Was that not a fucking legit moment?
That
in
was
the
so,
grand
like,
scheme of fucking Game of
she-
Thrones?
Like-
Legit.
I don't know the
Legit.
actress. I don't know the actress's name, but she did a phenomenal fucking
Whatever.
job in that scene. Like holy shit,
Like,
the
you're actually
emotion
critiquing
she
her
put into her
acting
face.
standards?
Like I almost got choked up in that scene. And I'm like, why? Like there's been
Hold
way,
on.
there's
You
been way
never
more
get
choke
choked
up
up in
scenes
it
than
because
this,
you
and I almost got
remembered her
choked
name.
up with that
You had to
scene.
get choked up on it because that was a memorable
Wait,
fucking
wait.
moment.
If we're
Right.
talking about like foreshadowing type stuff, did anyone else see the fact that John told Dany that he's the rightful heir to the throne, and then oh no, we have to run off to battle? Did anyone
Gwendolyn
else kind of get the
Christie.
vibe?
Thanks to Duncan.
No, yes.
Was
that's her
anybody
name.
not
But
like,
anyone else
oh
get
my
the
god,
vibe that
Danny's
like
gonna
Dany
fucking
might
slice his
kill...
throat right
yeah.
now?
Did anyone get that vibe? Because I'm just like slut, like freaking
Yeah,
You
yeah,
might,
out.
yeah.
but, By the
Oh.
way, I want you to meet my fucking dragon who's gonna eat your
Yeah,
fucking
so
head.
I got that too. So obviously, like, here's the weird thing: when he revealed to her, like, "Hey, by the way, I'm your nephew," her first reaction, and also when Sam revealed to him that
was like, wait, what?
it was
Cracker Barrel?
not a oh gross. It was a oh huh. So about the
Oh, no.
inheritance
I'm
and the
gonna have to
throne, it's
murder
like
Exactly, like every Cracker Barrel
your
morning
aunt
after.
and nephew. Like that would be my first thought. I was like, oh shit, no. So she instantly became worried about his
Come on,
claim to the
Brayden.
throne
Claim to the
over
throne,
hers.
yeah.
You've watched all these shows. You've read the books. You've read the books, right?
I read the first book and half of the second.
Okay. The bottom line is the Targaryens have been intermarrying
I
brothers
know
and sisters
that, I
and
know
family
that.
members from the very
But
beginning.
Jon hasn't,
She is
and he-
not.
But she was
Maybe
not.
he would say.
What do you mean,
Maybe
but
he would
John
think.
hasn't?
Maybe
He's,
he
like,
would
down the
think this is
fucking
weird
line
that
of the
she's my
scene.
aunt. Maybe he would think
He
maybe
was
it's weird
raised
that
a
she's my
Stark.
aunt. She would not care. She's a Targaryen.
Well,
She could have married her brother. It wouldn't matter. That's
Yeah,
what
but
they
she
did.
was not happy.
The worst part of that entire fucking episode was you knew exactly that John was going to be the dumbass who said at the eve of battle, "Oh, by the way, I have a claim to the throne," because he's Jon Snow.
Yeah.
He's a fucking dumbass. He's not going to wait until after the battle. He's going to be right before the battle sitting there going, by the way, I got a claim to this. And I know you're really hopped up on this fucking claim to the throne, and you're gonna like kill everybody because you got dragons and shit. But you know what? I'm that guy.
I know.
Just
like,
like I might pull the rug out from
follows
underneath.
that motherfucker like a motherfucker.
Panda, what
That
were you
makes it
saying?
way more believable, though. Like, what the fuck are you gonna say? Like, oh, the battle is over. By the way, the throne is mine because some dude told me. And he has some
wait till
visions."
the throne is open and ready to be claimed.
That's not
for him
gonna
to say
get
that.
you
Then there's a
John
fight.
doesn't want the throne. Like, why would John tell her? He could be like, hey, by the way, I'm rightful heir, but fuck
I don't-
that. I'm not claiming that. It's all yours. I just want to let you know.
Well, it's important. For
I feel
the
bad
Northern
for
Lords,
John. I
right?
do because
I
he knows.
don't
nothing.
think he wants
Thank
the
you,
throne.
Duncan.
He doesn't care about the throne,
John
but I think he
is
wants
not-
the North free. So I think he wants Sansa to be
I
able
don't
to keep
see
the
that.
North
I mean,
separate
look.
from.
Actually,
from...
John's just the fucking fucking stepchild. That is
Look.
just what he is.
So
You
wait,
guys know, I'm telling you right now, if you haven't figured this out, either John or Danny is going to die before the end of this is over. It's just one of them is going to be
saying
I
dead.
that.
think so.
No,
I think
stop
so.
it.
Okay.
Everyone in the chat is saying, are you
One
not?
of the two
No,
of them are
stop
gonna
it.
die.
Let
Yo,
me be
$10
The
naive
question
and
is not. The
hopeful.
question is not. The
Stop
question
it.
is not in the next 4 episodes whether or not one of the two of them are going to die. The question is in the next episode who's going to die, and I'm laying my money on. Do you remember that guy who, like, with the one eye with the fucking flaming sword?
That's
and shit
Barrack
like
Barrack
that?
Barrack
Dondarrion.
Dondarrion.
Yeah.
Barrack Dondarrion.
Yeah. All of his fucking lives are fucking done.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's done.
This
got him
next
dead.
episode, literally, he fucking died.
I got him
And
to-
swear to
Stop!
and I
Stop!
swear to
I don't
fucking
want
God,
anyone to
and I
die.
swear to fucking
want
God,
my happy
if he dies
ending.
this next episode,
A
if
shank
you
the
bitches
the
ever
Night
mute
King,
me again,
all the White
the
Walkers
fucking
die.
reign of the old
They
gods
live
will
happily
come
ever
down on
after.
you.
Stop
Alright,
it. No,
so-
nobody dies.
Definitely mute him again right
So
now.
so with my
No,
prediction,
nobody
Hilarious.
dies.
With-
Nobody dies.
no, there's gonna be a bunch of
Gibberish,
people
go
die
back to
on
your
Sunday.
fucking
right?
Reddit
Like,
and downvote yourself.
I bet at least I would bet at least a quarter to a
'Cause I'm not
third of the main
retarded.
characters die next episode. But
We
my
gotta let
prediction,
some- we
I
gotta
went a
let
little.
some low class characters get out of this fucking
I went a little-
game of
I-
Thrones.
I went a little overboard on my predictions on my sheet, I think, because when I first filled it out, not knowing what the first 2 episodes were going to have in told, now I think I'm wrong, is I put down that Gilly and the baby...
Gilly's
Sam?
gonna die. You
No,
know
I
she's gonna
put
die
down-
down in
well,
the
Stop
fucking
it!
zombie
No,
zone.
Hold on.
he lives
I
happily
put
ever
I put
after.
down that Gilly and
Beast
baby
lives
Sam
happily ever
die,
after.
and baby
Ghost
Sam...
doesn't die.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
gonna
right.
die
Sam
down in
becomes
the
a White
fucking
Walker.
zombie zone.
No!
Yes.
No
They're
one
in
dies.
a
Stop
crypt.
it.
The whole crypt is gonna erupt on them like it
No.
was fucking Game
Everyone
of
lives.
fucking
Lady Mormont
Walking
saves
Dead.
them. Lady Mormont saves them. She rides a bear in the crypt and kills all the White Walkers. This
Look,
is
I'm not gonna
Stop it.
lie.
Rain, I
Lady
recommend you take a
Lady
vacation for the
Mormont
next
is
6
hot
weeks.
as a motherfucker for a 12-year-old, but like
Oh my
still,
God.
Whoa!
Whoa.
like
Let's put that.
I'm
on
like,
there,
hold on, but she's still 12, and like she's gotta like grow the fuck up and shit.
So season 20 will be able to be like, yeah, sex scene.
Whatever, fucking pedo alert. I'm like part of what? Are they Black Legion? I'm like whatever.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just talking about a fucking like video right now. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
Go ahead, lay that shit out in Reddit. Suck a
Are you
dick.
tracking this theory? Okay, so Arya and her boy toy that secures
Gendry.
Gendry.
Stark. Right. Arya
No,
and
no,
Gendry secured-
Gendry, he's
Hold on,
a
hold on.
Baratheon.
Number one,
bastard.
Right.
Baratheon.
Okay, so that secures
Arya
the
has
Stark
already
house with the
already
Baratheon
banged
house.
No, wait,
Gendry.
Dirk, listen. Wait, Dirk, listen.
That secures the Stark house with the Baratheon house. Sansa is still married to Tyrion. That secures the Stark house with the Lannister
Hold on.
house.
But she was also
He
married.
was
John
only Baratheon
and Daenerys
blood,
is
not
the
house.
Stark house and the Targaryens. Therefore, all 4 major houses which have a claim to
Well,
the throne
I-
rule the fucking
I
Iron
have a
Throne.
question though. Like,
Except
so,
Cersei. Cersei dies.
I have a
That's
question.
right.
So she
Cersei
No,
dies.
Cersei
Tyrion
can't
becomes the head
die. She's
Lannister.
fucking Cersei.
wait. So Sansa was officially married to Tyrion, but then she was also married to Ramsay Bolton officially. So which one is legal and which one is not?
Well, they thought that Tyrion was dead, but now Bolton's dead, so that guy doesn't fucking
So
count,
the fact
obviously.
that
there's
Tyrion
no
is
divorce
not
lawyers
dead and Bolton
in
is
the Seven
her
Kingdoms,
original marriage
like-
still holds.
Tyrion's chromosomally deficient one-legged child is the King of Thrones.
Because they haven't really mentioned that they're still technically married. They kind of like have this whole like
Oh,
we
they're
used to be
saying
married.
wait. They're saying Gendry's a bastard, so he's technically not
He
Baratheon.
is.
He's not
Storm.
He's not a
Baratheon.
Baratheon. He's
He's a
No,
storm.
he's-
That's
he
not
is-
the best name for.
He's
Baratheon.
Robert Baratheon's bastard
Wait.
son. I forget the name
As
that
close as you're
Baratheons
gonna
use
get.
for bastard.
Am I the only one who wants Sansa
And
to
he's
die?
not
Like,
actually in the
Fucking
diaries
No.
of the
Sansa is a
Meisters.
strong
Why?
Look,
woman.
I'll
Why
tell you
not?
this.
Redhead's
Funniest
awesome.
thing
She
is,
knows
she's my
husband.
priority number one. I hope
No,
for
she
the
dies.
longest
no,
time,
No, I'm
Like,
unsubscribing
right
from
before
r
the
slash
beginning,
Eve.
too.
You're a piece of
Can
shit.
Can we talk
In the-
about
in the
Sansa's
books-
fucking leather cinching fucking?
no, we're not going to talk
Shame
about what
that-
she looks
you
like.
talk
We're
about
going
the
to talk about her
Cheating
as a
on the young
character.
women.
She's-
She's
Can
like,
we,
bottom line
can
is,
we talk about her
in
as
the
a
beginning
character?
of the
And how
show,
she's grown
I
up
hated
and like
Sansa.
cinched that shit up.
I didn't like how naive she was, but at the
Sansa is
same
the
time,
I
best
it's like
hated
she was
her.
about
I
it.
hated how
Sansa's
naive
the
she
best
was.
She's
character
13.
I
villain.
hated the
No.
fact that she got Arya's wolf killed.
She
I
was
hated
No,
all,
it was
I mean,
Lady.
like
Lady
everything.
got killed.
Brisk, she
And
was
now-
13 in the story.
And now she's one of my favorite characters because she's so good.
Yes,
the way that she
Sansa
handled
is the
Baelish
best
Baelish
character
was
development.
so
Hold on,
freaking
time
good.
out. Who's
That's
so
it.
good?
That's it. I'm
Sansa.
so Democrat.
Sansa.
She's not. She's fucking lived through. Literally, she's a
Sansa?
red
So
shirt
wait, wait,
that
no,
is
no, no.
skirt that.
All right,
No,
she might
no,
be
no,
like
no.
a
let me
She's
let
one
me
of the
look
most
at
dynamic
this.
characters.
Hold on,
in
one at a
the
All right,
time, one at a
fucking
time.
check,
series.
right?
She's skirting the edge of fucking like.
So you have all these
meh.
strong male characters in the show, right? But you have Arya, who takes the more masculine route of learning how to fight and learning how to kill, right?
Shouldn't you
so
have masculine?
Arya is the killer. She fights with violence. Sansa, on the other hand, Sansa was naive and very stupid as a young girl. However, she learned the political game, she learned how to use emotion, and she learned how to manipulate and use people, and now she is
The
very
hard
strong.
way.
So you have both
Whoa.
Sansa and Arya using two different ways. So Sansa is using the manipulative, the political, the using the people. Arya is using the violence, using her power and her
Subterfuge.
physical strength to be able to overpower someone.
Not to
both
mention
female.
using her
No,
magic
no,
of
no,
like
both
how
Are you
faces
female,
work and
both
shit.
Are you
very
saying killing
strong-
is a male trait?
both
That's what I
strong,
heard.
female, independent
Not to
figures
mention
of the
how
show, and they are together
Arya
and they're
is
fucking
using
dominating the
faces?
North.
Yeah.
They are dominating the North.
Now-
Yes,
hold on,
Generally, physical violence is a masculine.
I swear to God, fucking Arya is gonna fucking dragon face on all these people and fuck shit up.
She's gonna just like pull.
like honestly, because like she's totally got the whole fucking face thing going on. She's like whatever.
I don't know if you could do that with
Like
a,
she can fucking Sansa face. She can fucking John face. She can fucking all the faces.
The only
No,
face she can
hold
wear
on,
is
hold
if
on.
they're
Darwin's
dead,
got
though.
a
You
point.
can't wear
I
a
would
face if
agree
you're
with this.
dead.
Yeah, you
Whatever.
can't wear a
Hold
live
on,
face.
hold on. We're getting down into the last 4 episodes of Game of Thrones. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers that are gonna die. She's gonna have a whole slew of fucking faces.
Well, I'm hoping she buries John that scrapes his face off to wear.
Well-
like,
well,
what the
hold on.
fuck?
No,
Why the
nobody
fuck would
has
you
ever
hope for
saw a
that?
face get scraped off, though, right?
That's
right?
how they work.
Like,
How do you wear a
faces
face
just-
they cut 'em
if
off.
you do
Faces
not
just
have the
happen.
face?
Faces just
Didn't
I
you
don't
happen
think it's
once
a
they
legit
die.
face.
Didn't you watch Game of Thrones? Arya says you have to cut first. You have to cut the face off.
Yeah. You
Okay.
cut and wear the face, and then you
I'm
have to
sorry, I didn't see
emulate
that
the
on
character,
my phone.
which is how you become the character, which is why you are no one because you are acting as that person.
Well, but
Now,
You
is
think it's just
cutting
look like
someone's
magic
face
Harry
off
Potter
feminine
stuff?
or
Hold on,
masculine,
hold on.
though?
Nobody saw like
Both.
Red Wedding fucking guy get his face cut off, right?
No, because
Right.
she did it behind
We
the
just
scenes.
we just assumed it happened like in the off season.
Yeah, between seasons.
Okay, so if that's the case, anybody's face is fucking game.
Judge actually pointed out waiting to hear about Jintae's tournament. So CCP
Oh,
is
shit.
finally CCP fixed the tool to the point where we can run the tournament, but it will not be streamed. So we are running the tournament, and you are not going to watch it tomorrow or Sunday. So sorry, team.
If Jin was
Yeah.
here, we might have.
Oh
talked
yeah, we
about
never got to that.
So
But since we had me and Pando and Shines for the first time ever talking about what just happened, that was massive news. Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we also
And it's
probably should have.
disappointing news, yeah.
I mean, like the
we
only
had it in our show notes.
there's still like 180 people here, which is surprising. 'Cause I figured we'd lose a lot more than we
Can
started
we
saying.
talk
we're going to
about
Game
the
of Thrones spoilers, but-
legitimacy of that? Unless I bring it up and it's no longer legitimate anymore, can't we talk about the legitimacy of like player-run tournaments now?
So I've been waiting a long time for this topic to pop up. I just wanted everyone to know every VOD that Jintan decides to post, I'll be sticking on the subreddit for everyone to view. Just go ahead, go there, view it, support his tournament. But what CCP did with not even checking or QAing that streaming tool at all, 2 days before it was supposed to launch, was fucked up. Completely and totally fucked up.
Was that
I'm
that?
beyond pissed
Oh,
about that.
stop. I know your name is gibberish, but stop. Was that them QAing it, or was it the people responsible for the tournament QAing it?
People responsible for the tournament cannot QA tools that they do not own.
If they actually are allowed into the tool,
Nope,
can they not
nope.
figure that shit out?
Nope, they are end users. They are not QAing it. They can simply use the product. It is up to CCP to QA their own product.
When were they given access to the tool to
2
actually
days
check whether or
before
not it was?
2 days.
Okay.
It was 2 days. Yep.
I just,
And they said
I
they
want.
told
I just
CCP
want to be clear on this. That like they were only giving that access.
Yep.
Okay.
They just had
Rain,
access to use it.
Rain said it, everybody.
The amount of work that went into this tournament that people just aren't aware of is mind-blowing. Hundreds upon hundreds of man-hours went into this. CCP endorsed it. They posted a blog about it. And then
No,
2
they
days
didn't
prior,
endorse the tool.
no, not the tool.
They endorsed the
tournament.
They
tournament.
endorsed the
Endorsed the
sentiment.
tournament.
They endorsed the sentiment.
No,
they
they
literally
endorsed the
endorsed
tournament,
like directly.
and
like,
they
yeah,
They endorsed the tournament, but the sentiment of whether shit works, they're like, oh my god, yeah, my fucking rocking chair rocks like fuck. And they didn't know.
All right. Well, do we
Because
do we
Logic,
close
bro.
it? Do we close it to make it nice? We're at a good stopping point.
We
Do
are.
you want to stop or you want to keep going?
Well,
Well,
we
we
can
have to-
keep going elsewhere.
it's-
I'm just saying, like,
we're 15
before we
minutes
get
over.
too crazy, before we get, you know,
We have a serious debate about what fucking Arya is gonna do right now. She's just like, sitting there thinking, man, I'm good. Is she just laying back going, I'm good?
no. She, like when they panned to her during the song, she kind of looked like that was a waste of time. But I mean, that's just me.
I'm not gonna lie. I
mean,
thought
like,
she looked a
I've
little
seen that face
underwhelmed.
before,
I wasn't gonna
so-
comment about it.
Anyway, no, I think we should cut it and move. Just like because
By the way, if you're coming over,
show
to
was
the,
solid, the show was
Ravens
good,
Con
and this would
tonight,
be a good
you're
spot
going,
to stop
You're
it.
going to have to sign an NDA before you come to the after show because,
yeah,
like,
there's a whole
I'm
form.
not gonna
I'll-
fucking lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of a bunch of bitches talking about me like after the fucking stream and shit like that. But like, whatever. Sign your NDA and come in. I
Yeah,
will actually
there's
try
a-
and enforce it.
I'll have a whole link when you guys move over. I'll put a link in chat that will you can sign the whole NDA thing there.
By the way, I swear to fucking God, I'm going to talk about that fucking last fucking dev blog from fucking CCP
The after show.
in the after show when you sign the NDA and come over. Because the NDA matters.
All right, parting shots.
All right, yeah. Let's do parting shots and oh shit, this bottle is empty. Let me go to the other one.
I'm glad to be home.
I swear to God.
Welcome.
I'm
We're
glad
glad
you're back.
when you
Rick.
say home,
Fucking hooray, dude.
When you say home, is this like the initiative channel?
Party shots for the Init 3. Yeah, I love the name.
Welcome
the Init
back,
3 that came
nerds.
out.
Oh my
That's
God,
so
the
good.
Init 3.
The Init 3.
was
Like
so-
that's
well,
infamous.
And like
or
nobody
famous.
And you know what was really cool about all that? Nobody called it out. It's the Init.3.
Yeah, but no one likes the dot in there. The dot's
Like,
intrusive.
the whole
it's,
fucking
it's like
dot
that
thing is,
intrusive
like,
I feel
R
like
weird.
being
The dot thing
intrusive
is
whatever.
The dot thing is like the guys that go to Ohio State
It's-
saying,
it's
no,
like the
the
intrus-
Ohio State
No,
University.
it's like the intrusive R in British accents.
Ohio
It's like it's
State
really weird. Or
University.
they throw R's in there that don't
Come on.
belong. It's I actually learned anyway.
The
we'll do
Gig
that
X
after show.
hands.
No, anyway.
The Gig X3 hands.
All right, later, bitches.
Like,
Later,
nobody knows
bitches.
how that shit works. Nobody knows
Good
how
night,
numbers and,
everybody.
like,
Later,
punctuation
bitches.
works.
Dirk. Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.
Okay.
Don't
close.
care. Don't care.